Welcome. Pass that little donation bowl around here real soon for you. So don't forget to give as much as you would like to receive. If you are, struggling to pay your bills, you got medications you need to buy, you got, rent you need to pay, light bills, all that stuff. All you have left is $1,000, but you have $1,800 in bills. Give me the $1,000, and then God will bless you and pay all those other bills for you. I'm taking the church route. What do you think? Just sow that $1,000 seed, and I have the same exact power to command Jewish God to give you favor as, say, the Pope does or anyone else. We all have the same powers. I used to get in trouble when I was a kid because somebody would sneeze and I would say, "Bless you with the same powers as the Pope." And they'd get mad. You don't have the same powers as the Pope. Karen, what's up? I'm just wondering if you were feeling like being a asshole today. Of course. Of course I'm yes. Gosh, I look old. I gotta get back. Look, man. The no beard makes me look even old. Jesus Christ. Oh, I can't believe what's happening. I just can't. I cannot believe we are in a world war. Like you knew it was coming, right? You knew all of this shit was happening. You saw it sort of building up. You had the crazy people like me telling you. But you don't want to believe it because, you know what it means. Trump talking about we're going to have American casualties, preparing you for it. That number 47, man, that's fucking weird. That 47 has been drilled into our heads so much since Charlie that they're now like banking on it. They keep saying the 47-year reign of this president, blah, blah. Shit, I'm 47. Maybe they've been talking about me the whole time. The part that was disturbing was when he said, "Lay down your weapons. That shows intent on going in." I mean, I think that's one of the disturbing parts, but yeah. So fucking stupid. And of course, you have dumb white guy here whose name is literally beer. Beer, yeah. USA, USA. Tough guy, ho. Right? You got your hacksaw going on. Oh man, it's so fucking crazy. It's so crazy. Oh, leave then, he says. I love when the American doesn't seem to understand what America is about. And it's like, if you don't like it, leave. I just hope you're the first one to like be deported. I hope you're the first one to be deported to go die for Israel. I hope they send you. I hope you volunteer yourself and your children to be the first ones to go die for Israel's benefit. Go to another country if you don't like it here. Right. That's how. Shouldn't fix the place you live. You should just move. You're like, fuck that. I don't ever clean my house. I just leave. I just go. I rent hotel rooms and I just make one so filthy I can't stand it anymore, and then I just move to a new hotel room. Yeah, because I'm a good American. Derp, derp, derp. Derp, derp, derp. You know how stupid you sound? Who thinks that guy is anything other than a white guy? I have a tiny dick. I'm a white guy. I think everything's against me. You know, it's the same shit over and over again, man. The whole thing is fucking stupid. How would y'all be reacting if you woke up to the Alatoya having killed Trumpy? Right. I mean, can you imagine the outrage? I wasn't sure. I had heard he got killed. It was like a half hour later, but then I saw stuff saying he wasn't killed. But that's so fucking crazy. Like if it doesn't freak you out to think you can't actually point to what Iran has done to warrant this sort of execution. I mean, there's literally like, what else? What do you call it? It's strange because you watch that video, the Jews invading New Jersey video, Curious Joel and shit. But you watch the second one where he literally does like an hour and 15 about it. And it's fucking crazy. It's crazy, but that's literally what Palestine used to look like. Right? That's what you just don't understand. Your ignorant arrogance coming through again is that you don't seem to get that, like, what they're doing in New Jersey and Philadelphia and New York, like, all this is what they do. They move in and they don't assimilate. They start making, they start colonizing. And they're literally doing that in multiple U.S. cities and nobody's noticing it. Like they have their own police force. They have their own ambulance system and whatnot, fire crews. They have a system that if somebody gets a flat tire, they go out and change it. It's all for free. It's fucking insane, right? Think about this. And all of you America, USA people, you like that, huh? It's funny how all the USA people are so cool with Israel completely taking over everything. Us giving all the money to Israel instead of the money being used on American issues. Our president answering to the Israeli fucking prime minister. Like, it's so strange that all of you dumbass America First people are so quiet on this. You're good with the idea of American soldiers, kids, 18, 19-year-old kids, being sent to go die for Israel. That or go get fucked up. If they don't die, they're going to be fucked up. Going off and killing a bunch of innocent civilians, unless you're like an absolute psychopath, you don't walk away from that normal. Fuck everything Israel. Fuck everything Israel. Well, Israel doesn't even exist. Let's get that straight. Israel is just a construct. It's just a boogeyman almost that they give us. So they tell you you're allowed to say you don't like Israel. It's okay if you say that. We don't like it, but it's okay. You can say you don't like the Zionists. Those are the boogeymen. Just don't say you don't like the cult. The cult itself is okay. You're okay with that. You still support Semitism, right? You're not anti-Semitism, right? Don't you be anti-Semitism. You better not think, you better not disagree with policy or predisposition favorable to them. All you America First are happy to see a second. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's fucking crazy how stupid these people are. What is insane? I mean, look at this shit. Yep, it's crazy that I'm talking about something, not that there's literally a war going on to cover up for all the pedophile stuff. Because we know all you Trump supporters, you just ignore all the Epstein stuff. If he was innocent, why doesn't he just release it all? Why is there this block between 91 and 2003 or whatever that covers 9/11 that still hasn't been released? I mean, you're just so fucking stupid. It's really, really insane how, you know, just how stupid you are. And may I remind you, Karen, Act.il. Caught it. Wow. Draft dodging Trump. Well, what's even worse is to think they're going to institute a new draft. They're going to institute a draft because the amount of people signing up to go, as people wake up to the Israel aspect of things, less and less people are signing up for the military than ever before. Especially considering there's no fake ass 9/11 Pearl Harbor bullshit to bank on. And it's shocking right now. It's crazy to me that nobody can get, like, in all of the time, you've never seen, we've all seen incredible, an unlimited amount of movies. We've seen Jack Reacher. Jack Reacher. Jack Reacher's a great example of it. How come in the history of histories nobody has ever gotten a really high-powered sniper rifle, and got themselves a mile away or whatever, and done a sniper shot? It just seems strange to me. The one time something kind of close happens was fake. I'm still waiting for all of the Charlie Kirk supporters to all the investigators into Charlie Kirk and, breaking down the narrative and all that. Why aren't you guys doing that for the Trump shooting? Ukraine has one that reaches 2 kilometers. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Ukraine, you mean? Ukraine. 2 kilometers, miles, but it'd be like a mile and a half. But I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, a sniper rifle. Yeah. The longest sniper shot is like, I forgot what it is, 3,000 something meters. 3,000. I don't know, but it takes like 10 seconds for the bullet to get there. But that's the very best sniper in the world with the very best sniper rifle. And what about like the 720th best sniper in the world with the 85th best sniper rifle? I mean, a mile away, if you could shoot the mile that they say you can shoot, but if you could shoot the mile, nobody would even hear it. They wouldn't hear it till it was too late. The gun is 15 feet long. Yeah, it's crazy. A kilometer is over a mile. Right. A kilometer is no, it's not. It's not over a mile. A kilometer is less than a mile. That's why when you're going like 65 miles per hour, you're going like 120 kilometers per hour. It's backwards. Kilometers are not miles, right? No, I mean, again, what is this weird shit? Why do these people come in here and just say weird shit? Strange as fuck. Nobody's knocking you either. The mile kilometer thing just confusing at times. Sometimes you get it backwards. Don't get hung up on that shit. This is the world we live in is the illusion of it is falling apart. At least it seems like it. I don't know. I don't personally know anybody that's like, man, you know, uh, what's it called? Iran was really fucking with me, and I'm so glad that somebody is finally stepping up to Iran. I saw a thing where one of the talking heads said over 30,000 Iranians have been killed, and 30,000, no matter how you slice it, that's a genocide. He's thinking, said that out loud, that 30,000 people equals a genocide? A kilometer is, off the top of my head, 0.77 miles. Right. Like, it's just weird. It's just weird. You know, this narrative we're being shown, it doesn't stand up to any sort of scrutiny. And then it's like how do you guys ignore the Netanyahu aspect of things? Netanyahu is clearly running this country. Netanyahu shows up, and then when he leaves, we attack. I mean, this is just bullshit. 30,000 people is a genocide. What the fuck is Gaza then? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're saying 30,000 people equals genocide, which you have no fucking proof of whatsoever, we have zero proof. Remember, the same people that tell you that Iran, 30,000 people dead in Iran, also tells you that suicide bombers believe they're going to get 72 virgins when they die. You don't understand. Like, it's really a hard thing to get people to sort of wake up to, because we are just so inherently arrogant. We're inherently arrogant. We think we know things, especially if we know it more than like just the word, suicide bombers. I've heard of that. Or suicide bombers. Yeah, there's this and this. Like, if you know this and this, then you're definitely going to be some arrogant fuck, right? And so many people just don't realize, like, your entire existence is a manufactured bunch of bullshit. If you believe in George Washington, Ben Franklin, Abraham Lincoln, you believe in these characters, you've been duped. And that's so hard for you to get over. I get it. Right? And most people are so bothered. It's the part I don't understand. It's the most difficult part. Like, being somebody who was always good at video games, when I play against somebody that can actually beat me in something, I like it, Like, it's I like the opportunity to learn things. I like when I find myself in a position to learn something new, or to get better, to be pushed into being better. And most of you, especially when it comes to this Israel, this specific conspiracy realm. Like, I know lots about other little, all the other conspiracy stuff. I know bits and pieces of it. But when it comes to this particular thing, they say if you've put over 10,000 hours into something, you're an expert. And I can comfortably say that, yeah, I think I probably have. And when it comes to this particular thing, most of you haven't done shit. Most of you haven't, belch. You might remember some bullshit you learned in school, or some news story you heard, or you might even be someone that's, like, there's a lot of you out there that follow news updates for real, and Quinn O'Flynn and Stu Peters and Ian Carroll, and you follow these people. So not only do you feel informed, you feel informed on a deeper level, because you're learning about the stuff they don't want us to learn. But it's always interesting to me, like, you watch other people do research, and then they tell you what to think. you don't actually look into it yourself. You don't actually read stuff. You don't actually fall into wormhole or rabbit holes, and if you do, it's just you're clicking on videos, watching other people's interpretation of the interpretation that we're given. Like it really is interesting, right? Oh, we have the Finkelstein character here. 10,000 hours to hone your craft. Studious, hardworking hours. Let's get it. Look at this shit. I mean, look at the shit. It's funny how people, like I say, look at the comments. They're not like debunking what I'm saying. Abraham Lincoln, but they'll say shit like that, but they don't have any real. Like you're not. You can't let yourself think about it too much, because if you think about it too much, you realize how foolish you are. What's the main Ben Franklin story, right? The main one is that he discovered electricity because he flew a kite that had a key tied to it along the line, and then that kite was struck by lightning, and somehow that made him understand it. I don't fucking know. And we're all like, yeah, okay, yeah. Basically hit by a lightning bolt. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Like if you talk to people that have been hit by lightning, it's not fun. I think boys, males in general, we all believed at some point in our lives that if we happened to step into some toxic waste when a lightning bolt struck us, we would be hit with, we'd get superpowers. These narratives that were pushed on us, these narratives like amnesia, these narratives like think about how many times you saw amnesia in old school shows, long lost twins in old school shows, long lost relatives who bequeath you a bunch of money. They don't make that show anymore. Look at this shit. You guys are goofy. It's all a lie. It's true, right? And that's the thing that people need to really understand. Like, you have to be consistent. Don't be some asshole that says, "Oh, history is a lie. Let me tell you about it." You can't say it's a lie for the things you don't like, but the things you do like, you just go with it like it's no big deal. You don't question any of it. For me, and I hate using the word because it's just more of a descriptive word, but the Tartaria aspect of things, the old world aspect of things, really opened my eyes, or more validated my open eyes. Because my entire life I've been asking these questions. You can find videos for me from years back saying, I don't believe in the slavery narrative. I don't believe in the Native American genocide narrative. These narratives sound stupid to me. They seem like white supremacy. And because I had such a unique experience growing up going to school in one of the richest communities in the country while not being rich, surrounded by, my high school was like 3.5 black kids. Like it was strange. And to be, have history to be taught by either some rigid white, Christian douchebag, or one of those like, hey man, man, like those kind of guys. But, at the end of the day, your teacher has a curriculum that they're supposed to follow. And if they don't follow that, they lose their job. And if they lose their job, they lose their house and their kid's house and their wife's house and their car, and the kid has football program, and the other kid has tap dancing, and all these different things that are all associated with you being a good slave. If you're a good slave, you might even they might give you a raise. You might actually be able to make your children's lives that much better. Just be a good slave. Just listen. Just do what you're supposed to do. Floods destroy a lot. A lot is 2 words. And the whole notion that papers were destroyed, the Library of Alexandria and shit. Again, you only know what they tell you. Like, if you go, okay, so the Library of Alexandria of Alexandria was burnt. Okay, who built it? Who stocked its shelves full of all these books and shit? Where were these books being printed? What was the publishing process like back then? You want me to believe that these people were, walking around in loincloths and barely able to there was no there was no communication, there was no computers, there was nothing, no TV, nothing, and yet somehow they have libraries full of books. It's unsettling, and most won't even consider it true. It isn't. But the thing is, the best part about like the truther stuff is like if you're trying to convince somebody that their sky daddy isn't the right one, but this sky daddy is the right one, that's really going to be a little bit more difficult, I think, because inherently, I think we all know it's bullshit. Like I don't think most Christians actually believe in what they say. I think it's the popular thing to do. I think it's what their parents want. I think they, in passing, I guess they can say they believe it, but the truth is, if you thought it was even slightly possible that if you didn't follow this very strict set of rules to a T, that you would burn in hell for all of eternity with the gay guy devil, in his little red suit and his pitchfork, or the big monster one. If you thought it was even a slight chance that that was true, you would do everything in your power to avoid that. You would definitely know the rule book inside and out, front to back. You know both, old and new, just to be sure. What are you gonna do with the truth now? Go live and try to, like, this is modern day grassroots. So this is how things change. You have to talk about it. You have to converse. You have to engage people in their insecurities, in their shit. If you think protesting or anything like that, show me a time when a big ass protest happened, lots of people were in the street, rah, 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 and that directly led to legislation changing or something happening. Most protests, look, they're either flying over in helicopters, trains. They don't give a fuck about us, protesting out in the streets. They could give a shit less. It's best live live your life in your own truth. Yeah, that doesn't work. Again, that's that 80s sort of mentality but like we used to believe it took a village, right? And now we believe if it doesn't affect me, I don't care. Well, the truth, the real salvation comes from what I call true selfishness. And I can say what I call it because I don't know anybody else talking about this shit. But true selfishness is how we fix the world, because true selfishness is me saying, I want myself, my wife, my children, their children, to live the happiest, healthiest, safest lives they can live. And the only way that that can ever happen is if everyone else is living the happiest, healthiest, safest lives they can live. You know, so many people are like, oh, I love when you see a post online on Facebook and it'll show like a cottage out in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of lights on. And it says, you know, live here for 10 years. But people would say, that's all I need. I just need to live out. Dude, you have no idea how difficult it is to live out in the wild. It's just, especially in an area where it's not tropical, where the temperature gets low at night. You just don't understand that. People talk about we need to be self-sustainable and blah. No, we don't. I have no desire to farm for a living. I have no desire to, it's me, my wife, and my 2 kids. I have no desire to grow the food for us for the year. I don't even know how possible that would be. We're not this far so we can go backwards. It's not about going back to a different time. It's about moving forward and eliminating the stuff that doesn't work. Let's see. We're stuck in remedial detention. I know. Well, I mean, the system is flipping out. The system is terrified of me. I always used to say, because of, you know, that not wanting to look like a jerk kind of thing, that me or someone like me, they're terrified of me. There are lots of those people that are like me, but, you know, they tell you to believe in Jesus. You can't blame the whole cult. This system is so terrified of me that they come through with this kind of bullshit every single day. Why don't they just tell me what I'm wrong about? You know? Isn't it funny how when Kanye talks about the Jews, it becomes national news? But then when he's like, oh, you know what, maybe I made a mistake and I love God and Jesus and I'm going to change the name from Hail Hitler to Hallelujah and nobody talks about it. It's weird how they want us to believe that way, but they don't. You know, that's the stuff that's not sensational. Reconstruction of it. You saw a reconstruction of Jamestown, so that means it must be true. People, I love the Pilgrim story. People just don't know it. They just don't know it. And you're told it as a child, so it fits in there, and then you sort of barely remember it. But if you were told that narrative as an adult, you would have too many questions. You know? They were supposedly the journey that takes a month to happen. I mean, even you got to go back to before that, where they lived in Amsterdam and they broke free from the church and then lived in Amsterdam for a long time, and they somehow got some investors to fund the trip. Like, the chances are they're going to perish at sea. So to invest in, what are you even investing in? How do you convince somebody to invest in your religious cult so it can travel across the ocean and essentially start the greatest corporation ever made? Like, it's such a dumb narrative, right? But it was supposed to take a month. It ended up taking 2 months. They got blown off course. That's why they were up in fucking Boston, in Massachusetts. Like, again, it's like you have to have zero understanding of what shit looks like. what Massachusetts looks like, because after their 2 month journey, which again, they just had the supplies and shit necessary for a 2 month journey. After the 2 month journey, they crash in the Cape, but and they do that in like late November. I can't remember exactly when. But they don't come off the ship for 3 weeks. Right? And it's not until December 21st, I think it is, that they finally, go off the ship, and they discover that there is an area right where they are that had already been cut. And it was an old abandoned this, that, something like that. Thankfully, luckily, because again, you have to have no concept of what a nor'easter winter looks like. The snow, the cold, the wet. There's no firewood stocks or stocked up. Where are they? How are they surviving? And it just so happens that a Native American man who, as a child, was kidnapped by the whites, taken to, well, no, I think he had been a child here, so he had learned how to be a native here, Indian, a Tartarian. He had learned how to be a Tartarian here and all the ways to survive, but he got kidnapped as a child, taken to Europe, where he learned how to speak English and all the white customs. He then escaped, made it back here, lived here for a while, learned some new shit, got captured again, got taken to Europe again, escaped again, made it back here. And now he's walking up along the beach, and he sees this clutch of poor white people struggling, not knowing how to survive. And he's like, these people that kidnap me, that genocide my people, that are going to genocide my people, I could help them survive so they can do it, or I could just let them die. I'm going to help them because I'm a good Indian. It's fucking dumb. It's so dumb. Squanto, yeah, I thought it was Squanto, but I couldn't remember if it was Geronimo or Squanto, so I wanted to make sure. Yeah, Squanto. That name that everybody's heard at some point. You don't really know why you've heard it. You couldn't pick it. If I would have asked you who Squanto was, you wouldn't have been able to tell me. But it was good old Squanto. Squanto. You say shit like, people are being programmed by the box in the corner. Yeah. Evidence of Vikings in America and the Sun Rocks are cool history. Yeah, but again, you just don't know. You don't know what you're looking at. They tell you the shit, whether it's Vikings or what year it's from, 1123 or something like that, isn't it? Earliest evidence of the Vikings being in America are in Michigan, northern Michigan, and it's like 1123 or something like that, supposedly. But see, I think there is I think in this weird place that we're in, it's like, personally, I don't like talking about all kinds of different things because to me it's a big distraction. Anything distracting us from the genocide happening right now and the genociders is just that. It's a distraction. And so, to me, one of the best distractions ever given to us was the Tartaria stuff because it's so true. It's so obviously true. Anybody that wants to learn, wants to feel right, that's the best part. You're going to question society, you're going to question the narrative, but unlike anything else, with Tartaria, you're right 100% of the time. if you see a building and you go, that building looks Tartarian. That bridge looks Tartarian. That shit looks impossible. Then you go try to look up the history of it and you find out, oh yeah, they built that in 1 year. No construction records, no records of any of it, but they built it in a year. It's all good. You get validated every single time you look. So it becomes the best distraction possible. However, it's such a necessary element of this, of the truth that we're in right now, because of the way that they use shit like Jesus. They use the historical narrative as a way to corral us. So you have to, I don't want to spend a whole shit ton of time on the Tartaria stuff, even though it's fascinating, even though I do. Old World Secrets is this fantastic channel where they literally like pick little things, like the old grand pianos that were everywhere. Shit that you never even begin to sort of think about, but then you go, wait a minute, how did they get these pianos everywhere? And they do this great fucking documentary on it, half hour or so. And it's just fascinating. But when you look yourself, like you look into gaslighting, not gaslighting like you clowns do, but the gas lighting systems that were all over the world, that were these underground gas lines that fed into the street light systems that lit up the countryside for free. I mean, and you learn that they claim that the Chinese had underground gas lines as well as brine lines that ran brine for some reason to both light and heat homes as early as 500 BC. That's what the narrative tells you. And I'm not saying I believe that's true or not, whatever, but to tell me that the Chinese had that shit, they were running bamboo lines with gas running through them to light and heat their homes in 500 BC, but white Americans, white Europeans couldn't figure that shit out until the late 1800s, like everything else. It just seems so fucking off to me, right? It's just off and stupid. Let's see. Jesus Christ. Look at these fucking dumb comments. Oh, Gentiles aren't intellectually gifted enough to comprehend who rules over them. It's up to a select few to stick together and form a tribal alliance. It's true. I agree with you in that repeated comment. If you are here and you agree with any of this shit, like, share, and sub. If you disagree, like, share, and sub. Dislike, share, and sub. Maybe you're not capable of actually making a reasonable point, but somebody else is. So share this shit. I'd love to know what I'm wrong about. And then you start learning about Epstein and Maxwell and Robert Maxwell being the reason why you learned what you learned in school. Robert Maxwell's companies printed the fucking school books and shit. Like, it's never ending. It's never ending. Look at this shit. But to have a gathering for the Lord at one's house, though, gather in earnest rejoicing. What are you fucking talking about? I don't care what people talk about. I'm silenced because I talk about this stuff. Yeah, well, I mean, you will be. You will be. You'll always be if you're actually talking about the right thing, then you'll have a page like mine. Yeah. I have 2,500 plus subscribers on this page. How could I possibly be live to 13 people? 6 likes and 13 people. For a change, we have more watchers than likes, but that'll change. Eventually the likes will. The more likes my page gets, the less viewers I seem to be allowed to have. There's no other way to explain what's happening. They're interfering. They're shutting it down because they don't want me to get a platform. They want you to listen to Ian Carroll. Even though Ian Carroll is supposedly, opening the door, blowing the secrets open of the Jews, and he still tells you to believe in the Bible, and he tells you that some friars are nice to his face, so you can't blame all the friars. You can't blame the cult because there are some good ones out there. Strange how none of these truthers talk about how the friar cult, the worst part about the friar cult is not the fact that they control our lives. It's not the fact that they rewrite the history. It's not even the fact that they're committing genocide. It's the incestual pedophilia that is just everywhere. It literally 90% of the boys in that cult experience this incestual pedophilia. It's like how they use the herpes thing to cover it. Well, only 8 children have gotten herpes from it, and only a couple of those 8 died, so it's not that bad. Thousands and thousands of other times kids have not gotten herpes or died from it, so, it's not that bad. That's the kind of narrative they put out there. You gotta make that people like use AI and people will say they hate it, but in reality, you are supposed to get, so you can't get ahead in life. You gotta work on what you're doing. This is, I believe, like as far as evidential shit goes, right? I believe I'm providing you guys with a ton of evidence, not only in the presentation that I give you, but also the lack of opposition that I get, the lack of true opposition. Obviously, there's a lot of opposition, but it's always stupid, dumb nonsense. Like, why if I'm wrong, doesn't anybody just engage me and tell me what I'm wrong about? You read to T.O. much like I'm giving a damn. You should. If you're trying to present yourself and portray yourself as somebody that's smarter than the rest, than the rest, you need to, it's not like it's hard. It's not like it's hard to use the right words. Nobody's asking you to compromise yourself. No one's asking you to dumb yourself down by using the correct words. We all love to complain about how they are dumbing us down. But every time you try to point out an example of it to a person who's doing it, they get mad. They're dumbing us down. They want us to be stupid. And if you're trying to portray yourself as someone that knows something, that's smarter than, and you can't get the basic words right, you're going to turn off a lot of people. You're going to give people the excuse they're looking for. A lot of times people are looking for an excuse to not listen to what you're saying. And as soon as you can't get 3rd grade words right, that's the excuse people need. Let's see. Can't wait to see how I'm wrong about this. Y-O-U-R, not important enough for me to go back and read. Again, it's so funny to me. The fact that you would have to, that you type in correctly to begin with. Like, I can't do that. If I'm typing something, the correct your comes to mind. The correct to comes to mind. The correct there comes to, I don't have to think about it. But see, it's again, this is just like everything else, right? I believe that I'm making a much better argument than you are. You're saying, I don't care. And I'm saying, yeah, well, maybe you should because it makes you look stupid. And the fact that you don't have enough self-pride. Like, it's not about doing it for me. I'm the type of guy that if I text you and it fucks up, or I fuck up, or whatever, it sends the wrong word, I have to send you a corrected version. Maybe it's just a star and the correct word, but I don't want you thinking I'm stupid. I don't want you thinking that I don't know the proper English to fucking use, because, you know, it's my first language and all. But this is something that you see consistently, where people want to talk about, how do we fight the system? How do we, you know, they're making everyone stupid. How do we fight against their tricks and their shit? And you go, well, first of all, we have to take pride in what we produce. We have to make sure we're putting out the right things and saying things properly. And they go, nah, not that though. I don't want to do that. Because for some reason, again, it takes work to speak properly. I'll never, I'll never get it, man. The Temple of Zeus organization to find out the truth behind reality hails Zeus. Okay. Yeah, I agree 100%. I love that conversation. Engage daily, but the troll comments are definitely getting in the way. I'd pay you $20 for a conversation. I don't, you know, I don't want to have a conversation with you outside of here. You can always PayPal $20, and that will always go to good things, especially if you get the free download while doing it. But I would much rather the engagement take place through here, where people can actually see what's being said. You know? And considering how much time I spend doing this, I don't have a lot of time to do outside conversations. But I figure if there's anything that we're talking, like, there's nothing that you and I could talk about should be outside of other people seeing or hearing it. Okay, Miss Dem, you're Y-O-U-R bored. Then basic grammar becomes the thing that no one's seeing past. Jesus Christ. 3 TBIs and 1 and PTSD. I'm doing good for 29. Yeah. See, again, now you're making excuses, right? The traumatic brain injury doesn't, you know, you can communicate everything just fine. Like, nobody is looking at your shit and saying, wow, she must have a traumatic brain injury. Oh, she must have PTSD. It's lazy. You're not misspelling a whole bunch of shit. You're misspelling the basic stuff. The stuff that I would assume they do to separate us. You know, it's an identifier. They know that if you make these kinds of mistakes, you're not part of the circle. I don't know. But I know blaming it on anything other than laziness. And again, this isn't a knock. This is something you can fix. This is a good thing. This is something you can go, you know what? I'm going to start making better decisions. Especially considering you're on a computer, a phone that will give you the right word. The phone tells you the right word every time. Ouch. Look at this shit. We have someone that joined 2 years ago, has 2 subscribers, and can't say anything but stupid shit. Grammar. I'm more than okay with losing stupid people. If you're going to get upset because I use the proper grammar and I'm trying to educate you and make you better, good, man. I'd rather you leave now than later on. Yeah. You corrected me, and I don't like being corrected, especially when I'm wrong. Well, this isn't the place for you then. You're a loser and you're poor, and no one should listen to you for anything. Yeah, no one should listen to me for anything. Yeah, I'm crazy because I think we should kill pedophiles. How dare I be so crazy thinking we should kill pedophiles? That's weird. I don't know if I have that. Can't even have a real conversation here because of the chosen. Genuinely want to engage in civil dialogue when there's demands. It's okay. You can do what you need to do, and I'll get to it. Block the chosen dumb comments and engage with people. Why would I do that? The stupidity is it's the evidence. Sit here and block all this evidence. You know, it's one thing when it's somebody that says, I agree with you. Yeah, well, if somebody says they agree with me, then people will say, oh, that person just agrees with you on everything. But to know that there are people that are here specifically to disrupt, to distract, to be a negative, and that's the best they can do with everything that I talk about, all of this controversial shit, all these things I say that I'm not supposed to say, and you can't pick a single one of those things. Instead, you got to say dumb shit. Like, that's the best part, man. Sorry. You can't fix the brain, moron. You can't fix the brain, moron. You can't fix the stroke. So you're saying your TBIs and your PTSD allow you to say everything else correctly, but when it comes to which your to use or which two to use, that's when the brain injury kicks in? That seems pretty convenient to me. I've just been redirected through some dude who was talking Charlie Kirk, some skip capped drawing America. Whoa. So Karen got kicked off the feed. When she tried to come back, it redirected her to... Interesting. Hell has a special place for grammar Nazis. Again, you're arguing, you're defending your own stupidity. It's amazing to me. And this is one of those things where, like, you could easily just block these people, but why would I? Do you understand? Like, this is such a prime example of why we are the slaves. You know? This is why we're the slaves, because even the people that claim to be woke, such a terrible word, they can't be constructively criticized. If you can't get better, then what's the point? If you're just going to cry every time somebody corrects something that you're getting incorrect or a mistake that you're making, what's the point? You're clearly too arrogant and insecure at the same time, which seems like a weird thing, but it's the truth. This insecure arrogance is just everywhere. Moderate your channel. Whatever you do. You don't worry about how I do my channel. How's that work? My feet are size 6. They've got me dropping my grammar all daytime. Says somebody that's here every day. You're, Y-O-U-R, a slave to your own stupidity. So now you can get one of them right. I'm stupid. I love when people tell me I'm stupid by saying Y-O-U-R, stupid. It's like delicious, right? It's like I don't even have to try. I don't have to be mean. I don't have to look into you and try to find profile pictures or anything like that. If I want to, destroy you intellectually, I just have to read what you say. That it's lazy. It's simply laziness. That you're too lazy, and then so arrogantly foolish that you're gonna blame a TBI. Oh, my TBI makes it so I can't get certain words correctly. Come on. Fucking insane. But I'm a man of genuine intellectual conversation and planning. Okay, so the fact is, you have now commented multiple paragraph comments, right? Multiple times where you've used at least one or two different sentences, even three sentences to make your point. What is preventing you from whatever you're supposedly wanting to say? Instead, you keep saying these same things. How you can't say them on here. So you're just going to keep saying these long-winded, why I should operate my channel to your liking comments. Just say what you got to say, dude. If I'm corrected with facts, then gratitude is the only sense I admit. And I agree with the message you're sending, YOUR, sending out 100%. I appreciate that, E-Briggs, but like that's just it. Most people don't want to offend their viewerships, right? Most people don't want to make the people that like them upset because we all know that people are super insecure like that. It's crazy. So most people will, if they do notice it, they won't say anything because they're worried that you're too insecure and you're going to get upset with them. I shouldn't correct people's grammar because I don't want them to not watch me anymore. Well, again, if you're not going to take that, I mean, obviously all of the teachers throughout school didn't affect you. So if you're not going to take the word from me, again, if it didn't matter, you wouldn't get upset about it, right? If it truly didn't matter and I corrected you, you would just be like, whatever, and just keep going. But instead, people try to defend it because of their own hang-ups and shit. Again, I appreciate you saying stuff, but yeah, I don't want to destroy you intellectually. Let me guess, when you hear... What the fuck is Chloe talking about now? Good old Chloe. I already served, so I stand for the draft. You stand for the draft. You served in a military where there wasn't a draft, but you think forcing people to serve in a draft is a good idea. Wow, are you dumb? And you're a female, right? Oh my God. Oh wait, Mississippi Democracy. Maybe you're not a female. I was just reading The Miss. That's all I saw was The Miss. So you sound like a dumbass. You're probably a dude. Oh, here we go. Another lazy millionaire. I love the people that claim to be millionaires but won't prove it. Simple proof. This guy wanting friends right now. That's insecure as fuck. It's insecure to what part is? As a spam. Now you're gonna spam to get your point across. What a weirdo. Just do it. He's fixated on your draft. So weird. Hurt people hurt people. Exactly. Hurt people hurt people. I mean, it's true to a point, but people like to discount the fact that there are just psychopaths out there. There are just assholes out there. Like bull riding is still a thing. How is bull riding still a thing? Who is that insecure? You could see it. I mean, it's usually a bunch of little bitty white dudes in their big old hats. Oh, look at me, I'm a cowboy. Ding ding ding, I'm a cowboy. It's fucking silly, man. But all of this, all of the narrative that we're given, excuse me, the plethora or plethora, however you want to say it, of distractions out there, it's to keep us from looking at them. They don't care what thing you're distracted by, as long as you're not talking about them. That's all they care about. I'm sure you have a better insight because obviously I'm not concerned with whether human peasants like me or not, and I'm obviously sure. So again, what is stopping you from, like, see, you're proving why I would never waste my time communicating with you outside of here. You're supposed to be saying, say something. Say your debate. Say your exchange of ideas. Say what you need to say. Wasting your time talking to these fucking Israeli trolls. You're blaming me for doing a feed where I talk to the people, but then you're getting locked into some Israeli troll bullshit yourself? What are you thinking, man? Just say your point. Stupid does have a voice and it sounds like you. Ooh. Oh, you guys. Man, now all my energy's gone. That one really hurt. Oh. You know what, guys? I'm going to shut this down. They hurt my feelings with that one. So that was such a good one. There are people use their hurt to heal people or educate them, and there are affluent. There are hurt people who hurt people and blame their hurt as justification. Yeah, it's all the same. Like people do what they're going to do, right? It's not, there are like she said, there are lots and lots of hurt people out there who don't hurt other people. To me, I say it all the time, like, what's worse than a pedophile? And it's a pedophile who was assaulted as a child themselves. And they know firsthand just how awful that is. And yet they still do it to another child. Like that's a whole different level of fucked up right there. Like, again, if me correcting your grammar wasn't so important, why are you so hung up on it? Why are you still crying about it all these comments later? Seems like it's actually important to you. Like I said, if it wasn't important, you would have just ignored what I had to say. Like you ignore so many other points that I make, right? Like you're sitting here ignoring all the other things being said so you can defend your stupidity. I don't cane and I use the wrong words. Peep, pop, poop, pop, peep, pop, poop. Did you get what I said there? I don't have to use the right words. I could just say what I want. Pink, tink, tink, poom, punk, kunk, kunk. Did you get it? So stupid. But you see this all the time on here. Karen can attest to this. Whether it's people that are supposedly in agreement or people who disagree. Nobody seems to just address the thing that they want to say. Nobody addresses what I'm getting wrong. Nobody makes the point they want to make. They talk about how they're going to make the point, or they would make the point, or they, maybe they did make the point. They'll say that one a lot. But nobody actually addresses anything. Didn't want you have 5 viewers. Yep. Makes sense. 6 viewers, 9 likes. Totally makes sense. 2,500 subscribers plus. It's because I corrected people's grammar. You don't mind if I'm correcting history. You don't mind if I'm talking shit to other people. But as soon as it comes to you, as soon as you get Guyanized, then you cry, how dare this guy point out the fact that I used the wrong words? I was trying to tell him he was stupid. Why didn't he get upset when I said he was stupid and instead made me do that? Wah. At the done morning. Look at this shit. So stupid. He's isolated 3 people who watch him. Yep. Because I'm stopping you from saying intellectually stimulating and reasonable points, right? I'm preventing you from doing it somehow. I'm isolating myself by blocking dumbasses like was suggested earlier. Yep, that's how this works. Then they just cut out and they're coming to your house. Yes. Or they just cut to the right. They're coming. They're going to come get me. I'm going to get you. You hurt my feelings. What are your decisions? People. Operation Paperclip. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Who are your big political influencer that you follow? Nobody. Nobody. There are people that I watch that are interesting. Ian Carroll makes interesting videos, but Ian Carroll is controlled opposition. You know, being somebody who does it myself, I have a different viewpoint than the people that just watch. Because I know just how difficult it is to break through. And when I've had videos that have over 40,000 views on them, and they either get shut down or, whatever, I know what it's like to get there and have it shut down. It's undeniable. Anybody with a fucking half a fucking brain can go look at my previous live feeds and go look at the numbers prior to September 10th and the numbers after September 10th. It's literally undeniable. Unless you're just some straight up dumbass, right? Which that's possible. But when you see that somebody goes from 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 views on average to 30, 50 views overnight, the day after Charlie gets kirked, the day after like the conspiracy thing should blow up, that should have been an increase to my channel. And this is something that you don't see everywhere else. If you come to my feed, you'll see shit you don't see everywhere else. Even the troll action is different on my page. But people don't want to like look at the fact that Ian Carroll has 100,000 views on his video and think, wow, he was allowed to have 100,000 views. They just think that it was accidental, They just think that it was. Hang on a second. Wait, hey. Oh, it's not my job. She's sleeping. No? Okay, go ahead. Not my chair, not my problem. I asked you where in Europe your ancestors come from. I mean, my concept is that the ones that I know of come from Germany and Poland, or at least that's the narrative. But considering I don't think I trust that, well, It is interesting though, because I can talk about the Holla hoax and you can't really say anything to me. Because my grandfather was in the camps, supposedly. Now again, I think we're Operation Paperclip, but what do I know? What do I know? Now we know you are a dumb boomer. No. Boomers are before me. Goofball. Where looking at a bong top right now, talking about being shut down. Where, WHERE, looking at a bong top right now, RN, talking about being shut down. Yeah, you guys. Like, that guy clearly has his shit together. Nobody's even talking about him being, Mississippi inbred either. Mississippi? It's pronounced Mississippi. Oh, Jesus Christ. I've never seen your reach rung. Retch around and retch it off. He has no idea. They're definitely from America. My ancestors are mixed with Celtic and Viking. So you're told. So you're told. I've said this for years. Go ask your grandfather about his grandfather and see what he has to say. I bet it's not much. Of course, the younger people would have to be your great grandfather, and by then it's already done. But talk to the people who in the tens and the teens and the 20s and shit. See how that works out.
Woke me up to wipe the cat's ass. Really?
Good morning. It's always so pleasant.
Good morning.
Always so pleasant. God, why didn't the kid want to steal with shit? He should have just been cool with shit. Oh, man. Fucking prima donna bullshit, man. I swear to God. It's so ridiculous. I only got to sleep till almost 10. What the fuck? How late do you want to sleep? Interesting. We have books, yeah, because books are always true. If it's in a book, it has to be true. Nobody has ever written a fake book or lied or used print media to, nothing. Nothing. Books are true. Because you can't win an argument with an idiot, intellectually depleted, that instead of engaging with him, I will now deprive him of attention he desperately seeks by blocking him. What are you even talking about, goofball? Was the Iran's leader a good person? I mean, I would assume to be a leader of a country, you can't necessarily always be a good person, but more than that, tell me something that you know the leader of Iran did. I mean, even the whole idea of the 30,000 people killed, how do you know that's true? Do you believe that the numbers they tell you about COVID? You believe all that shit? Yeah, sunshine indeed. The cat had a big clump of shit on its butt, and I draw that line. I'm not a cat, wiping the butt person. That she can do that. That shit's gross. But like when you think about was the Ayatollah worse than Trump? By no means. By no means. I mean, is anybody worse than Trump? Why isn't the international community coming after Trump like Trump is now done to two separate leaders in just as many months? Just as many months he's attacked two countries like that. Right? It's so fucking crazy. And Maduro, we just don't even hear about Maduro anymore, right? Right? Maduro's story's gone. 10 viewers, 11 likes. Holy shit, that dude just got an axe out of his backpack. Why doesn't somebody run up and smash him in the head with a fucking chair? How can it be a good person when his country is running like garbage? Oh, it's running like garbage. You're literally quoting dumbass. It's a garbage country. It's running like garbage. Yeah. Then, you know, why would they need us? Why do we give a shit so much? Why does it coincide with the Israel stuff? Like, again, there's almost no point in talking about this with people who aren't willing to acknowledge the truth. It's all fucking Israeli bullshit. I have a pretentious vocabulary of simple terms. I blocked that Zio bot because I'm not engaging with his nonsense. I mean, it's fun to make them look bad.
It was so bad. His snake gland was clogged up, and when we were doing it, it shot out and crap went on the ground.
Oh yeah, can you imagine if I would have done that? It's a good thing we woke you up.
You mean me? I woke her up.
Right, exactly.
You told me not to.
Well, that's true, I did, but I'm trying to, take some of the heat.
You're feeling fine.
Look over here, and I know, look over there, the American boys still going to be fair. So the going where he implores us to go is a boy to be paired with us, knowing a role. Look over here, and I know, look over there. Pro-Confederate or pro-Union? Pro-United States. Then you're a dumbass. Why are you pro-United States? I can smell it up here. Holy fuck. Then somebody else must have farted. You're pro-Confederate. Wow. Yeah. What a surprise. Yeah. I'm Team Goyim. I'm not pro anything. I'm Team Goyim. And personally, I'm not some piece of shit who thinks that because my parents had sex here, that gives me more right to exist than the people whose parents had sex there. Children are being literally starved to death and then having bombs dropped on them because of some chosen bullshit, superiority. Do I think that the children in America are any better than the children in Iran, than the children in Palestine, or, even the Jewish children? At the end of the day, my suggested solution to the world's problems is to protect the Jewish children. I am the loudest voice, the ultimate voice I know for standing up for Jewish children, and nobody wants to back me. You would think the Jews would get behind me on this one. Why don't the Jews back me? What do you want me to be? Israel, Y-O-U-R from Goyim? The fuck are you even talking about? That's a one man. You think Trump is your daddy? I have a reasonable sized head, but I'm not orange. And Trump's kids are fucking ugly. So, I was never that ugly. I wasn't Brad Pitt or anything, but I was never that fucking ugly. At the end of the day, you're American. Hey, you got it right. Good job. At the end of the day, I'm a human. American whatever is just manufactured bullshit. If aliens came out from outer space, we wouldn't be Americans and French and German and all that. We'd be humans versus the aliens. But again, I'm not the type of asshole that thinks children whose parents had sex, like your parents, do you picture it? Picture your nan, picture your Grammy, and your pup, and he's, who's pussy that? And grandma's going, it's your pussy that, it's your, and she's all fucking, she's doing all that shit. That was your grandparents. He's like, bitch, where do you want it? Where do you want it? And she's like, come inside me. Because normally she would swallow or whatever. But she was like, come inside me, Harold. And he's like, all right, Gertrude. And that's how your dad got here. That's how your mom got here. And then when your parents got older, your mom was a bit of a floozy. And she was going around with a bunch of different dudes. And I don't have any problem with that at all, whatsoever. I think girls should be just as free as boys. It's all good. But especially when we're talking about pre-Maury, pre-DNA testing bullshit. You know, riding around in cars that were basically queen-size beds and going to hang out at Makeout Point. They weren't making out. That's why venereal disease clinics were fucking everywhere. VD clinics were everywhere in the United States prior to like the 80s. Prior to the 90s, really. Because your grandparents were getting fucking down. Most of you, I'd say probably half of you who think your grandfather is your grandfather, he's probably not your real grandfather. He's probably just the guy that got stuck with your grandmother. She lied and said that he was the only guy that she had been with, and he didn't have any other way to fucking disprove it. Most of the time, especially when it's, you know, your parent is the oldest of the 5 kids. Yeah, well, that's why. Wait, when's Dad's birthday? And when did you guys you got married? 4 months before he was born? How'd that happen? You don't want to talk about that shit. Oh, look at this shit. Can you just admit you are learning because you don't want to want more? Yup. Yeah, you know what? Let me I am so good at all of this that I faked my way into mutilation surgery where I have a big hole right there, a couple of holes there, a big scar that goes from the middle of my hand all the way down and around my arm. Because you can just fake your way into surgeries and shit, right? You know how doctors love doing fake surgeries and shit, multiple time fake surgeries. Oh, yeah. Huh? Not yet. But morning, Bubba. Hang on a sec. Oh. How you feeling? How you out there? Boom, boom. They took her germs. Oh. Yep. Love faking my way through surgeries and then living a life that is extremely poor and check to check because I can't make it better. Oh, I love it. As my kids get older and older and more expenses are necessary and we can't afford it. Oh, it is so awesome. So awesome. Boy, my plan sure worked out well. Fucking stupid. Didn't man claim to be a senator, but he is concerned with the treatment of Arab and Jewish children. Who claims to be of European nobility? What are you talking about? All that inbreeding. Just a excuse to use Vagisil. It would be an excuse if you have the following word starts with a vowel, then the previous, it goes from being a to an. But I don't expect you to know that. I didn't mean the inbred you claim in Spain. And I didn't know I'm a world class from Ireland. Oh, poor baby hurt his. No, I didn't. I faked it. Remember? I faked hurting my little hand. Yep. Well done on the scar prosthesis. Yes. Yeah, I made. Angela actually wakes up early every day and puts the makeup on just in case it's that rare occasion when I decide to take the thing off. Yeah. We actually do it every day. It's expensive. The hog, we can afford that shit. I can see all this cigarette. Oh, Jesus Christ. He didn't need to do shit. He faked his way into. Yeah, it's all fake. Yep. Fake. Definitely not right. He says stuff that makes sense sometimes. Like a schizophrenic. Oh. Did we just have our identifier here? Did we just have our identifier come through? Because, you know, that's what schizophrenia is. Schizophrenics go online and do research talking about what's wrong with the world. With one specific part of the world. Must be schizophrenia. And claims to want to engage with like minds. It doesn't actually engage. Isn't it amazing how many fucking comments you've made about how you want to say stuff, but you just haven't said anything? Why aren't you saying these points that you need to make? Interesting how this works. And now the boys haven't got plasticine lying on. Plasticine? I don't know what that is. These guys are just, it's like, again, ask yourself, anybody that's here, like it's Sunday morning. A lot of these guys have been here since I went live between 8:30 and 9 on a Sunday morning. They've been here and they're crying and crying because they want my attention, but they won't actually say anything that matters. Remember yesterday the guy said, same shit, that I just want to argue, I don't want to debate, and then just proceeded to say the dumbest shit. Like, go ahead, say the debate. Say the thing I'm getting wrong. How am I preventing you from doing that? Really interesting how this works. And then they love to like say shit to each other so everyone strokes them. He said this. Didn't he say that, guys? Didn't he do that, guys? Come on. Tell me. It's fucking hilarious. Oh, he wouldn't be on here thinking crazy shit and saying everything is fake and unfair. If he would take his ass and find a job, he was normal before anything's a sales job. He killed it, then cries. Oh, then oxys. Yes. The oxys. Isn't it funny again how so many people want to talk about me and apparently they know so much, but they can't seem to debunk anything I'm saying. Definitely don't want to talk about the big picture, the world picture. And then they're wrong, and whenever they're wrong, they just jump to new comments, to new nonsense. Isn't it interesting how this works? Or the prosthesis, that's the cheap opinion for makeup. Or that's a cheap option for makeup for Ange to use, yeah. Entertaining. Yep, it's entertaining. I love that idea that of all the things in the world you could be doing, you're here getting called a pedophile, proving my point over and over again, because that hurts me. More and more of that hurting me so much. Ouch. YouTube censors half the English vocabulary at this point. Then most of your comment wouldn't be here. And this censorship is difficult to get around unless you use big words. Here we go. More didn't say anything. Yep. Shocked. Yep. That's how it is because you're seeing this movie on the taxpayer's dime. Yep. That's it. That's it. Sunday morning. Right? I love the people that are literally here because it's their job, because they're earning money. You know, most people don't understand the act.il narrative here. And let's go into that because it's such an important one that people need to understand what's actually happening. You know, if you do any sort of live anything, or you're a content creator and you talk anything about the friars or Israel, you've probably seen an uptick in the recent, like in the past couple weeks. And this is something I've been trying to get you guys to see for a long time. This is called act.il. I stumbled across it around 2 years ago. Nobody else was talking about it. I just stumbled across it going through the down the wormholes. And this is where you know, like, along with the fact that Ian Carroll comes out of nowhere in March of 2023 and almost immediately has 300,000 following and is on the Rogan show a month and a half later. Outside of that stuff, you know, these truthers, these Stu Peters, these I am Blakeleys, these I want to name off Larry Johnsons and Nick Fuentes's, and you know, Nick Fuentes. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but since I started picking that shit apart, boy, has Nick Fuentes fallen apart. It's really strange that I never came on here and told you guys you should listen to this guy. As a matter of fact, whenever it was brought up, I was like, yeah, I don't really trust that guy. I think something else is going on. And nowadays, if he's not screaming to you that he's controlled up, I don't know what does. You have no point, goddammit. Really? And you're just here then for what? Can I just like making fun of stupid people? Oh, you sound awesome. I should be more like you. I won't lie. You are very consistent on YouTube. And you could definitely work. You could definitely work. But if you got a job, it wouldn't be a disability check. Now you know you're making money off YouTube. That could fuck. Oh yeah, making money off of YouTube. How do you know anything about what I'm doing? You see me for a couple of hours on here, and the funny thing is, you all love to cry about how much I smoke. Do you ever think maybe that goes together? You ever think maybe there's a reason why I smoke so much? Couldn't be the severe pain, but because I don't talk about it and I don't cry about it, that means it's legit, right? Funny how so many people want to talk about me, but they don't want to talk about the genocide. They don't want to talk about the pedophilia. They don't want to talk about the Jewish control. They don't want to talk about any of those things that affect everybody. I don't know about you guys, but I worked from the time I was like 13 years old. I know you guys didn't. And the thing is, I can't just get a job where I'm trolling, where I get an act.il paycheck, right? Act.il is a social networking service used by supporters of Israel to oppose online anti-Israel content, such as the Boycott, Divestments, and Sanctions Movement, BDS. Its activities were referred to as, quote, an online propaganda campaign and, quote, a virtual situation room for pro-Israel experts. You see that? And online, because online starts with an O, and online, and a virtual, because virtual starts with a V. You get it? Vowels, consonants, you get that shit? Act.il directed its users to, quote, missions to like, comment on, and share pro-Israel material on social media. It also asked users to flag, report, and respond to criticisms of Israel, which might entail writing a reply using the provided talking points. So every time somebody says schizophrenia, take your meds, go get a job. Do you think all these guys are actively out there, you know, trolling the Jewish community that has 18 kids lives in a fucking mansion. Do you guys do that? You guys mad at those people who have never worked, have never paid into the system? Like it's like you just don't understand. And that lack of understanding makes you say stupid things. You know, you can't fake your way into my situation. The system, I don't know how anybody ever does. The system is so difficult. They're so stringent. You have to jump through a lot of hoops to get here. And let's see, how many surgeries have I had? She here? Chubby! No, she's not here. I think it's like 12. No. 9, maybe? I don't even remember. But it's just that kind of dumbassery, because instead of addressing the huge pedophilia problem, instead of addressing the, billions and billions of dollars, not just going to Israel, but also going to these Jewish communities that are all over, these settlements, these Jewish settlements all over the United States, billions of dollars going into that. Nope, it's me. I'm the wrench in the gears, boy. And you just have all of these people who are like, no, I'm just a random person, but I've been watching you for years. Gee, that's weird. You've been watching for years, huh? What made you decide to speak up today? Like, it's all really obviously this bullshit. Because this bullshit, let's keep going. With the provided talking points, again, they're never going to sit here and tell you why Israel is a good place, why Israel makes the world a better place, why the friars are good people and they deserve the Semitism that they require and all that. They're never going to engage you on that, and you'll never see it. You could see Anna Kasparian having all sorts of arguments with these fucking talking heads, and they just say the same dumb shit. You're not allowed to say that. It's in the Bible. You're not allowed. That's hate. You're not allowed to have hate towards this thing. Why am I not allowed to hate this thing? You guys hate everything else. Openly. Death to Arab chants everywhere you can look. And yet no one's allowed to hate you? Why not? Like, I don't even try to beat around the bush. Like, yes, I hate it. I absolutely fucking hate everything about their cult. Tell me why I shouldn't. Somebody tell me why I shouldn't hate this cult. The app also provides users with ready-made memes promoting Israel's perspective for them to share. Listen, by completing missions, users earned points, unlocked badges, and had their scores displayed on leaderboards. They get points, and then they unlock badges. What do you think those badges are? You think they're just little things that they can sew on the front of their shirt and feel good about themselves? No, badges are prizes. Whether it's a $10,000 prize, or it's a new TV, or it's a trip to Israel, or it's a new car, or whatever. I don't fucking know the prize schedule. But I know they're literally telling us that they give them prizes. They are prizes, badges, prizes. And it's scary shit when you think about how they've weaponized trolling. Because we don't have anything even close to that. We're not even close to that unified. But you have to ask yourself, who magically just happens to stumble across my feed day after day after day, stay here for hours on end begging for attention, and they're apparently opposed to the idea that we should kill pedos and overthrow the Israeli control, the friar control scheme. Who the fuck do you think that is? I believe I'm providing a pretty good argument, especially considering I'm not even getting any opposition. They're such cowards, they can't even begin to try to oppose what I'm saying. But I'm still going to provide you more and more evidence to back what I'm saying. Now listen, according to Plus 972, this is the history, Act.il was the centerpiece of a digital campaign called For IL, or For Israel. Announced in 2017 by Gilad Erdan, then the Minister of Strategic Affairs, for the promotion of Israel and delegitimization of boycott, divestments, and sanctions, BDS. The Act.il app assign users missions. Do you get it? It's right here. It's right here. Yeah. The Ramblings of a Madman is reading you what... It's right here. This is Wikipedia. This is a completely locked up version of Wikipedia, so there is no editing. What do you think assigning people missions is? Here, go to this guy's fucking feed and try to talk shit. Make sure you don't give too much. Make sure you don't actually try to engage him on anything because he's smarter than all of us combined. Which isn't hard to do. You know, they're dumb as shit, no doubt about it. Real quick sidebar. Why is... Just think about how we've been manipulated through television and shit. I was just thinking about this. One of the episodes that we always used to see, another one of these episodes we always used to see, like Amnesia, is the episode where everybody pretends to forget somebody's birthday. And that person walks around being just fucking devastated. Can't believe these people that they supposedly care about him and care about. Obviously it's a misunderstanding. Like so many TV shows, movie plots, and whatever. Somebody says something that is wrong, and everybody looks at each other, and then the music starts, and then the scene changes, and you go, well, why didn't you just say, hey, oh no, that's a misunderstanding, and then the movie's over, right? But this thing with the birthday thing, where like it's like a funny thing to make somebody think you forgot their birthday all day and then surprise them with this. Why would that be a thing? That's such a fucked up thing to do to somebody. Trick them into feeling like they don't matter, feeling like shit, only so you can get a good surprise at the end of the day. That's just weird. Where did that come from? Anyway, let's go back to this. Assign users to missions. I just can't, I don't know how else to provide you guys with more evidence. You're on a feed that has 12 viewers and 13 likes with 2,500 plus subscribers. If those numbers make sense to you, I guess you don't watch. I don't fucking know. Usually if somebody has 13 likes, they have a lot more viewers than they do likes. But on the page where this is happening, the guy that's literally proving to you who controls social media, how they manipulate social media, all that shit. I'm being censored like this and you think nothing of it? Okay. Would assign users to missions to challenge social media posts it considered to be critical of Israel or in favor of the BDS movement. Erdan called it the Iron Dome of Truth. And when was the last time you heard any of those other talking heads that believe in Jesus tell you to believe in Jesus? Tell you can't blame the cult? Try to get you to, Black Rock and Black Rock and Black Rock. When was the last time you heard about any of them tell you about this? This affects your everyday life. This is, You know, I get BlackRock owns everything and all that, but this is literally the weapon that they're using against us. Anybody that dares speak out against anything Israel and you start getting interference on some weird level, this is it. This is the evidence of it, and nobody else knows about it. Why the fuck not? Act.io was a joint project of the private Israeli university IDC Herzliya and the US-based Israeli American Council. Pay attention. The Maccabee Task Force, one of Sheldon Adelson's foundations, is a major funder of Act.io. I could literally go on an entire thing with Sheldon Adelson. Sheldon Adelson is the founder of Israel Hayom, who wrote the most important article ever written, Bottom of Darkness, which there will be a link to in the description of this video once I'm done. Bottom of Darkness literally tells you why these people are so awful. Why the solution to the world's problem is to protect the Jewish children. You know, at the end of the day, they can be as mad as they want at me for saying these things, but my goal is to protect the Jewish children. How are you going to fight with me on that? The organization behind Act.io is staffed by former intelligence officers and has a collegial relationship with the Israeli intelligence community. Gee, that's weird. It had a close relationship with Israel's Ministry of Strategic Affairs, which combats the BDS movement, which it views as a threat to Israel. A threat. If we start unifying and taking money away from them, they view that as a threat. Interesting, right? According to, this used to be the end, this used to be the last paragraph available. According to Mendoweiss, an email sent in March 2022 to the app's users announced that the app will be shut down, but that the users should continue to interact with Act.io's content on its other social media platforms. So, while they were gearing up for October 7th, they shut down this main paper trail. Even though they still had functionality, they still were able to operate through the social media offshoots, the social media, you know, the Act.io Facebook page and whatnot. They limited the paper trail by shutting things down until, if you notice, the first line says Act.io is a social networking service used by supporters of Israel to oppose online anti-Israel content such as the BDS movement. Up until 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, it said it was a social networking service. I went to read it for the first time in a week or so. I had followed me. Normally, I read this page once a week. So when I read the first line and there was a word was different in the first line, I caught it immediately. I said, what do you mean it is compared to was? Well, according to the new bottom paragraph, what's up, Matt? Good morning again. I haven't seen any of yours yet. The application was relaunched in early 2026 under the name Rise App, with the former Act.io owners partnering with Reichman University for the release and also transferring the former Act.io user base of 40,000 plus people to the new service. Reichman University is now partnering with the Israeli government and private sector, I guess, to essentially pay. I mean, Reichman University, it's going to be full of college students, right? University students who need money, who are proficient with computers, who need money, but they're not going to go fucking work for it. So you make trolling a payable thing. And now you partner with Reichman University. And now look at the immature stupidity that's come through in the last 3 weeks. pretending to be rabbis, pretending to be, like lots of them at least acknowledge that they're friars. That hasn't happened very often until the last 3 weeks. But not only are they acknowledging being friars, they're calling themselves rabbis. And that's pretty fucking interesting, right? And they're just literally all they do is prove the point. They consistently prove the point how inferior they truly are. Most of you want to. We've been taught that. Maybe I'm wrong, thinking these guys are fake rabbis, but one of the main reasons I don't believe them to be rabbis is, as a rabbi, they're supposed to, spend all their time studying the Torah, which, I mean, seriously, it's not even that big. So how much time could you possibly spend studying one thing? How many years, decades could you spend studying one fucking thing? It's so weird. And then if you watch that Curious Joel video, like he goes into one of the synagogues and he sees some of the classes being taken and whatnot, and they're all just standing there. Everyone looks identical. They all work, they move in unison, and they're it's so fucking goofy. But they're literally creating these little monsters, and they say, we don't have televisions in our house. We don't have internet. We don't want our children to be exposed to the outside world outside of how they want them to see the outside world. And if they control the entire perception and they make the children grow up in this narrative where it's okay to abuse them if you're one of them, but everybody else is a bad guy trying to get you. They're trying to get you. They're trying to get us. They're trying to destroy us. They hate our way of life. And you create these little fucking monsters. And you see it. You see it everywhere. You see a bunch of people that, I mean, seriously, go watch. I think it's called The Jewish Invasion of New Jersey by Tyler Oliveira. It's the second part, third part. He's made several videos along this line, but this one is the newest one. Has 4 million plus views in 4 days. And it's really amazing, but at the same time, there are these key components to it that I'm like, man, they're seemingly like it. I can see why the video is allowed to exist. Instead of being shut down like any of my videos would be if I ever came close to that many views. I see why, because of the certain points where he backs down. How he continues to push the idea that, anti-Semitism is a bad thing. And, what did I say that was anti-Semitic? Well, how am I pushing anti-Semitism instead of embracing it and saying, yes, I oppose your supremacy? Pushing the idea, well, there are some good ones. There are some, not one mention of the pedophilia. There wasn't a single mention of the pedophilia in either of those videos. And that to me is the biggest aspect of it. Like, I realize that they control the world. They control my life indirectly, and my life could be better and all that stuff. I get that. But aside from the selfish, the selfish side of things, I just want to protect the children first and foremost. Right? The children are the biggest victims here. I gotta go pee.
Eek, stop it. She's eating the cord. Good morning, guys. Oh, how are y'all? I am sleepy, puffy. It's one of those mornings. one of those mornings. Thailand is goofy. It's what I find really interesting is the difference in social etiquette from country to country. The little difference in social references. Stop eating the cord. Stop. And the sayings, and I always found it really strange that like things that aren't like socially relevant anymore or cool anymore, end up being cool in Asia for years afterwards or whatever. Like Hello Kitty is still a huge thing, and and the adults embrace it, and it's goofy. You're right, it's goofy. Mrs. Guy
Real
Williams.
spaghetti got wet
Yes.
when I was boiling it. So.
Good morning, Karen.
Real spaghetti got wet when I was boiling it, so
I put it in the dryer.
it's in the dryer.
Oh, he's a goofball. Put it on. Oh,
Son,
I thought you had to sit it.
Bitch ass nigga. Shit's been hurting me lately. I mean, part of my evolution of my fakery is that the braces have been hurting lately. So. But that's how you do it. You gotta evolve. If you're smart.
20 years today.
Huh?
Would have been my 40th anniversary today.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's life is funny, man. Life is funny. You think it's gonna last forever. And then all of a sudden you grow up and you're like, hey, wait a minute.
Did anything happen overnight?
I'm sure it did. Nothing I've heard of so far, but
Nothing major.
I don't know.
Oh, my neck.
Yeah, I blew her back out. You know how it is.
And I told her when you breathe in.
Is it on that shoulder? Oh, because you kept laying on that side and snoring in my face. I mean, not snoring in my face. And I kept trying to get you to turn over, but then I'd be like, oh, well, she's probably laying on that side because her other side hurts. So I don't want to disturb the princess's sleep, so I'll just be asleep. And I was trying to have this conversation with myself, but I kept having to, stop because you were interrupting me.
It did hurt to lay on my left side. So stupid.
I do not understand how anybody can make those noises and it doesn't hurt you. It should hurt. If you try to make those noises, like actually snore, if you make right now, snore as loud as you can snore. Like that. See if that doesn't hurt, especially like the 5th time you do it. Not old buzzsaw over here. Shit's so loud that I actually use it to cut boards. Like I get boards and I just sort of wave them over her head while she's doing it, and it cuts the board.
No one likes you.
Yeah, I know. You are a piece of shit. Good job. I'm glad you're here. It's a good thing that you're acknowledging it.
What?
Person said they're a piece of shit.
Why?
I think they just realized it. I don't know. I'm telling you, this Rise app reinstatement of act.il is so, to me, it's like, even when when October 7th happened, right? I was in this unique position of I told you so, right? And I didn't like being in that position, but I that was something that I was saying repeatedly. If Israel doesn't do exactly what they did by the end of December 2023, that I'll stop making videos and all that. I'll just quit. I was wrong. I'm a bad truther. I just need to stop. Guillain-Barré syndrome. Another one of these weird things that gives you Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is polio. They just don't tell you that. But I just, to me, it couldn't have been more obvious. When you looked at the starting in 2022 with well, not even starting in 2019 with the 6th prime minister bullshit that was going down till 2022 when Netanyahu was put in office in a way, like, notice how it's 2026 and there's no talks of elections, this being an election year in Israel or anything like that. It should be. They supposedly have the same 4-year cycle that we do. And Netanyahu took charge last time in November of 2022. But because of some sort of loophole, I don't even really know what it was. I just knew it was happening. Or it's what happened. Because of some sort of loophole that they did, putting Netanyahu in charge the way they did, along with Bezalel Smotrich and piece of absolute horrible donkey shit, Itmar Ben-Gvir, they're in office. They're not coming, like, they can't be taken out. The only way Netanyahu will ever not be the prime minister is if he chooses to step down, or please, he's taken out. Somebody takes him out. I mean, I don't understand why Christians across the world aren't praying to God to send Netanyahu a heart attack. But but you could see it happening. People, like, I was begging you to understand. Start, they put him in charge, and then Israel purchases 42,000 slaves, supervised slaves from Delhi.
They're not slaves. They're laborers.
Supervised laborers who aren't allowed to have another job because 38,000 are earmarked for construction. That's what they're being brought into Israel to do, is construction. That's it. Doesn't matter how smart they are, how capable they are. They're here to do the construction jobs that the Palestinians do. Which is weird because Israel doesn't have this surplus of construction jobs. They need to bring in more people because there's just so many of them. That wasn't the case. These were the replacements because the Israeli way of life couldn't have been disrupted by anything. I don't know, let's just say there was like some sort of attack, conflict, plan, genocide, whatever it may be, in a year to come or whatever. If that were to magically happen out of the blue, nobody's prepared for it. Nobody, what are you talking about? Then the Israeli life needed to be able to continue as it was. And so 38,000 were for construction. And then the other 4,000, 42,000, remember, the other 4,000 were earmarked for elderly care. Because even the Jews don't want to take care of their own mean-ass elderly fucking relatives and shit. Do you know how crazy that is? Do you know how fucking crazy that is? They didn't want to take care of their own, so they were bringing in, because again, that was another Palestinian job. Most people don't realize it. So the Palestinians, they had to pay what worked out to be about half of their paycheck each month in order to have the license that would allow them to leave their area, go through one of the checkpoints where they are all but strip searched, and if they want to be strip searched, then they'll strip search them. Every day they have to be searched thoroughly and go through this bullshit harassment just so they could come into Israel and do these shitty jobs, be mistreated in these shitty jobs. And then at the end of the day, they would have to go through the same process on the way out. And this isn't like a quick process. This would add an additional 2 hours to their day just going through the checkpoints. And they, again, half of the money that they made, they had to give it back to the Israeli system just to buy their monthly license. And then essentially you have, especially when you're talking about the Israelis that had been there for a while, even though 95% of Israelis don't have Semitic roots, they come from Ukraine, they come from the United States, from Poland and shit like that. The 5% still is there. And to see that they're discriminating against people that look just like them, that are basically their brothers and sisters and were for many years, I think that has a psychological effect on things. So by bringing the Indians in, not the natives, not the Native Americans, the real Indians, not the Tartarian Americans, the Native
Indians.
The real Indians, the Indians, the only Indians. They're the only Indians. The
ones from India?
Yes. The Indians, yes. The people that were here were Tartarians. They were Tartarian tribes. They're all over the what is now Russia, and all that. It's the same cultures. Why they look the way they did. Right, I'm crazy, I know. I mean, this is all stupid. You threw me off. What I was saying.
The Native American, or the real Indians.
Right, I know that part, but I don't remember what I was saying before that. It's all just bullshit. It's all history. It's all fake history bullshit anyway. I mean, it's all connected, and it's weird how prior to the Tartaria aspect of things, the old world aspect of things, there seemed to be this huge hole in the narrative that was hard to bridge it all together. But as soon as you tie that piece in, now it all makes sense.
I find it bizarre that everybody was so willing to accept being lied to for so long.
We didn't have a choice.
Bullshit.
We didn't.
Go to the wrestling room and go do gymnastics.
No, I'm saying but as far as, almost like the worst thing they ever did was the short sight that they had when it came to the internet. They thought we can give them the internet and we'll still be able to control things. And they just fucked up because we were able to communicate with each other in ways that we never had before. And we were able to share information and share perspectives and, you know, realize like, hey, wait a minute, like we're all the same. We're all this, we're all, you know, unique. We have our cultures and stuff, but all of it's being controlled by the same apparatus. Oh, Karen's back. Guess who's been booted and back? Exactly. That totally makes sense. There's nothing to see here. I'm just crazy. Karen's crazy. Anybody that agrees with me is crazy. You know, this whole bullshit. The October 7th, the slaves. That's what I was talking about. I don't remember how I got it. Oh yeah, because we were talking about the Indians. That's what it was. Those aren't Indians. Those are Tartarians. But India bought or Israel bought these 48,000 or 42,000 Indians, supervised laborers, slaves, and nobody talked about it. Like they literally purchased people. You could call it supervised laborers or whatever you want. They purchased people. And now the people look significantly different, so you can really discriminate against them and not feel too bad about it. You don't have to worry about the person you're going to discriminate looking like your brother, you know, looking like a distant relative or whatever. And so this is early 2023, and then you're watching as, you know, the weekly protests because the judicial branch and the executive branch aren't getting along. And when it all comes down to it, as a real true form of protest, all of the people of Israel who are essentially reservists, because according to Netanyahu had this brilliant plan. I got to give him this part. This part's brilliant. And it's weird because people didn't catch on to it. And like that's how Naftali Bennett won. Naftali Bennett won running on the platform that, you know, because Netanyahu said at 18, all Israelis had to serve in the military, had to become servicemen, at least learn something, but so that they're all actually soldiers, they all get trained a little bit, and they're all, in the case of in the time of turmoil, they can all fight. Whereas Naftali Bennett said, no, fighting is for the dumb goyim, for the Americans. We are supposed to live our lives in prayer and going on our pilgrimages and, you know, living a good life. We're not supposed to fight. And that's what he ended up winning on. But the brilliance of Netanyahu's plan didn't come into fruition until very recently, when the U.S. started passing legislation saying that all Israeli soldiers, their pensions and their health care and all that stuff will be paid for by the United States. So anyone with an Israeli service background now has a U.S. military pension awaiting them whenever they decide to start taking advantage of it. And so now you see Netanyahu making everybody serve. Now what does that mean? That means that everyone in Israel has that U.S. military pension, has the health care, has all of that shit paid for by tax dollars, U.S. tax dollars, right? But you saw this all take place. You saw in November of 22 or in June of 2022 when Naftali Bennett steps down and Yair Lapid just takes over. Like that's how you do it. That's how prime ministers change. Like, what's the point of having votes if somebody can just step down and another person who's not like the vice prime minister or anything, he's just a really popular talking head, he can just step right into the role? How is that even a fucking thing, right? Usually that's the kind of shit that makes the U.S. government go in there and fix their situation, liberate them with democracy, you know? But that happens, and again, because of them all being servicemen and all being reservists, their main form of protest against the idea that the executive branch and the judicial branch were disagreeing with each other, the people were really upset about that because the executive branch was saying that the judicial branch would, quote, no longer have the ability to scrutinize the judicial or the executive branch as much. What does that even mean? You can't limit somebody's ability to scrutinize. It's literally such bullshit. And the reality was the only time they ever really differed, the judicial branch and the executive branch, was when the executive branch wanted to kill more Palestinians, and the judicial branch would be like, hey, maybe that's not a good idea. Funny how once they signed over, they signed the legislation that essentially took away the power to scrutinize. What the fuck that means, I don't know. Almost immediately afterward is when we had October 7th and then the subsequent genocide. But like I said, as a form of protest, all of these reservists were signing these pledges that would say, hey, if there happens to be some sort of conflict, like nothing, something that hasn't happened since 2006, but let's just say something like that were to happen in the next year or so, I don't know, a couple months, whatever, I don't know, let's just say something were to happen. Our form of protest is to say we won't fight if called up. Nope. It was literally the most unlikely thing to happen. There should have been no, if you look at October 7th and you look at the supposed narrative of, the Hamas attacking and launching 20,000 or launching 5,000 rockets in 20 minutes and flying go-karts and all this other bullshit. And then you look at what's happened since, obviously, there was nothing there. If they could only muster up one attack, it's all just fake bullshit. They faked the October 7th so that they could institute the genocide. Even if October 7th was real and a little over 1,100, somewhere's around 1,100 people were killed. 1,100 as opposed to 600,000? That seems like a reasonable. And even if it was true, Hamas had every justification possible to engage in an attack. They've been slowly being genocided for 75 years. I don't think they've been being genocided, actually. I think they've been kept alive for 75 years, 76, 78 years. If you own a cow farm and you want a hamburger, you don't slaughter all of your fucking cows. You're not going to be able to have hamburgers next year, the year after that, 10 years, 15 years from now. You have to be smart about your slaughter supply. If you want to have your needs met, you have to slaughter intelligently. Look at this. 5 viewers, 13 likes, guys. Anybody wants to tell me how that makes sense? Love to hear it. If you're watching, like, share, and sub. These are the things they don't want people knowing about. And again, if I'm wrong, by all means, tell me. He's so ridiculously warm. I woke up today with him right here, and I was like, get on. It was so hot. We just lost a like. Oh, I just lost a like. Funny how that works. Oh. Funny how that works. Either way, any way you slice it. 5 viewers, 7 viewers. You shouldn't have more likes than you do viewers. That's not how the algorithm works. The more likes you have, the more views you should be allowed to have. But of course, that's not allowed to happen. When it comes to this Israel stuff, there's nobody can even begin to engage with me on this because you don't know. If you've been paying attention, you've been paying attention since October 7th. Well, there's a lot more that's been going on prior to that. And most of the people have some sort of religious block to prevent them from seeing the truth. If you subscribe to Islam or Christianity, you still have, there's still something that's going to prevent you from actually seeing what's going on truthishly. This narrative is terrifying. It's terrifying. And it's playing out in real time. They're so brazen about things nowadays that they're just doing it. They don't even care if we know they're doing it. They don't care if we like it or not. They steal our money and they give it to themselves. And, they punish those who speak against it. If you're smart enough to notice what's going on, you're gonna pay for it.
No count.
I still don't understand where is the support for the guy that says protect the Jewish children? Are you guys like opposed to that? Are you guys anti-Semitic? You don't believe in protecting the Jewish children? Why doesn't anybody believe in protecting the Jewish children? Why doesn't anybody, where is the support? Where is the Jewish support for what I'm saying? Shouldn't the Jews be like, hey, this Goyim is saying the right things. We need to protect the Jewish children above everyone else. Where is the support for that? It just seems, it seems strange. I wish I could do what, what's his name, Oliveira was doing.
Oliveira?
Yeah, the guy that was making the videos about going into the Jewish towns, they're being invaded. You got to watch it. You just have to watch it. It's fucking insane. It's so many examples of, like, you see the same tactics being used on him in real life, in real time. Well, I'm sorry somebody hurt you, so you feel the need to do this. Shit like that. They'll drive by and they'll lay on their horns, so even though he's interviewing someone, they can't be heard. They literally had people in vests, like official capacity, going around, and anytime he would talk to somebody, they would walk up and whisper something to them, and then after they would whisper, they'd drive off. Like, it's a nightmare. And the thing is, what's so scary to me is to think that's what Palestine used to look like, In the beginnings, these settlements came around and they just started taking over places, taking over the shops, taking over the rules, taking over, most importantly with these places, taking over the legislation, taking over the government. You literally saw people talking about how they're diverting money from the public school programs and funneling it into the Jewish private school programs. And because they control the vote, it just goes through, and it's like, how is that even fucking legal? Everybody wants to lose their minds over the Somalians and the Somali fraud and the Somali fraud, this, that, and the other. And sure, that's something, but even that, you can trace it back to Israel. There are Israeli fingerprints all over that whole thing. But this Curious Joel and all of these Jewish settlements, we need to start calling them settlements because that's what they are. These settlements are exactly how they did it over there. And they just slowly started taking over and changing laws. And I mean,
It's crazy to me. How does that?
You remember how I told you about their own police force? Their own police force shows up in this video. Everything that gets talked about in that is stuff I've been trying to tell you guys for years now.
You showed me, little clips and stuff. I just still, I'm not saying that you're lying and it's
No, I know.
but how that can be allowed to exist. How people,
Only for them.
right? How people are not in an uproar. We get our panties in a bunch when, somebody opens a club, a ladies only club. Oh my God, men can't go. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? We blow our minds up for stupid shit.
Those two guys like each other. Ugh,
But
that's not allowed.
This stuff is.
Well, I mean, again, they hide the pedophilia behind, well, only 8 babies have gotten the herpes and only a couple babies died from. We do this thousands and thousands of times per year, and only 8 babies since we've been recording it have gotten herpes, and only like 2 or 3 have died. Why is that a bad thing?
And the whole group is watching this dude put his mouth on this baby's penis.
Right.
They're all looking and thinking there's nothing wrong with
That's
it.
an accomplice. If you stand around and you watch a child be violated, guess what? And then especially like if you know of a crime and you don't report it, that's a crime.
It's a crime.
These guys are all paying this man. They pay this man. They pay for this service. They hire the moil. They have a big fucking party. Then they all stand around and watch, and but at the same time, at least they do that because at least the baby afterwards gets all the love and praise and it's okay and reassurance and all that. They're not just sliced up and left to sit in a fucking incubator going, what the fuck happened to me? Till they pass out from shock. There's always an exception to acceptable laws. It would even be one thing if it was sort of like that, but at the end of the day, there is no addressing of it. It's not even like it comes up and then it goes away. It just sort of goes away. There's nothing. There's someone like me that has found little bits and pieces, but literally the only time there's ever been an open stance from their side of it against the procedure is when the person doing it was known to be spreading fucking herpes or some other fucking disease and refused to step down. They found out that they were spreading this shit and they weren't like, oh my gosh, I don't want to hurt children. I can't believe. They were like, nah, I'm gonna keep doing it. And there's a case from like the 17 or the 1800s where that happened, and then there's a recent case where that happened. But outside of that, there's literally no social outrage, no movement.
So what is it? Does he get the taste for blood and he just can't stop? I don't get it. Explain it.
Fuck if I know.
How? I just
I don't
can't
know
stop
how
doing it.
I don't know
just
how
can't.
you know that's your job description. Like that's literally all you do. That the moil is not like the guy who teaches the Sunday school and he's an ambassador to this and he does that and he does
But
it.
see, that's not how they spin it in their head.
No, but I'm saying
That's not his job description.
But that's what I'm saying is he doesn't have all of these different jobs that he's required to do. His sole job is to perform circumcision rituals.
Right.
How do you go into that knowing that that's what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life?
Because he doesn't focus on the sucky part. That might be what entices him. But what he focuses on is the sacrificial offering of the flesh. He is the one giving God that flesh, and that
I think
he
it's
is
more giving the
very
baby.
important because of it.
Well, yeah,
That's what
I'm
they
sure there's
focus on.
something. Well, sure, whatever. I don't know what you're even arguing here.
Well,
yeah.
I'm saying they don't. He's not looking at it like, oh, my job.
How do
is
you
to
know
suck
how
baby
he's
dicks.
looking at it? You don't know shit about that guy. You don't know what the fuck made that person at a young age decide of all the different things he could go into, the one where he puts baby dicks in his mouth was the one he was like, all right, yeah, that sounds good. You have
That's
to.
not what he thinks, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, we
Okay,
think that 'cause
you
it's
can
appalling.
keep saying that because you're saying you. I guess you know how all these
They're
guys
talking
think.
about the ritual of the thing. That's what's important.
So
Embrace.
what? There's still the reality of it. It's not like it's a shock to them. It's not like they have no idea. It's not like you could say, "Oh, well, I never gave it much thought." You had to have. There has to be that thing. And then there's the other part of it where because they're in such closed off secular communities where there's no internet, there's no TV, nobody's saying it's wrong. Along with all of the, oh, I'm sorry, along with all of the other ritualistic sexual abuse that goes on, you have these little robots who are just trained to think there's nothing wrong with it. And there's the people like my wife who forever say, well, you know, I was in the community and I never heard about it. Well, you were a goyim. Regardless of what you may think, you were a goyim. You were a goyim married to a goyim who was.
Just like white, like someone threw up like liquid in the tub. I just washed it down. It's gross. I think it was ink.
Appreciate it, thank you.
At least they did it in the tub.
But you know,
I'm not worried which cat did that. Though.
who cares? It's done with. You know, you weren't privy to the inner circle shit. You never got invited to a bris. You can't say I went to a bris and they didn't do it. And the more you look into it, the more you understand like Matitza Pape has 4 parts that are part of the ritual. You're not going to do 3/4 of the ritual and call it good. That's not how they do things. You know, this is the reality is that this is a huge part of it. And then you have on the other side, you have the head Moyle guy of the United States claiming that he had done it over 30,000 times.
So I'm looking at it like from a kid's point of view. You know, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I switched to.
I don't
human
understand
medicine
this. I'm going to play devil's advocate side of things. I just don't-
because there's more than just the way that you're looking at it.
You're coming
That's
up
why.
with this crazy
Well,
comparison.
when you were a kid, I wanted to be a vet until I learned you had to put animals down.
Okay, and that was probably pretty early, right?
No, it wasn't. I wanted to be a vet for years, and then finally, I think it was Brown Yaya sat me
Okay,
down. She was like,
when?
"You know that means that you."
So
you
at
know-
like
Young.
15?
Oh no.
Right.
Way
So you
younger.
were young. That's what I just said.
My point is, maybe these little Jewish kids, have the ideology of the ritual and all this in their head, and they don't realize that part. And then when they get to that part, they're like, "What the fuck?" That's when the adults step in and they're like, "Yeah, well, that's just to stop the bleeding, so the baby doesn't bleed to death. That's just how we do it." And then they go on from there. Like,
Yeah, maybe
lessen it.
maybe that's the case. Yeah, maybe that's the case. Maybe it's just a bunch of oops-a-daisy, well, I know, blah, 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 blah. The Moyle's job is that. So you don't go into being a Moyle thinking I'm going to do this, and this, and then this is a part of it. That's the Moyle's job. You can't, it's not like there's a whole bunch of variation to
I
it.
think that some of them most likely do. Just the sucky part is, yeah, that's just part of it. But
You
the
again, you're
ritual is
saying
so
this based
important.
on what? Based on you
logic.
don't want it to be what it is. But you're talking about, Pornhub is the biggest website, the biggest porn website in the world, and it's owned by a rabbi. Most of the big porn websites are owned by rabbis.
It's hilarious.
Like because you've been tricked into this idea that they are God's chosen people and that we're not supposed to talk about them, you end up coming up with these, maybe scenario, maybe it didn't work out. Yeah, well, what's more likely is that they know exactly what the fuck they're doing.
I think that's less likely. That's what I'm saying.
How can you say somebody goes into a job that is specifically geared towards this and they don't find out what they have to do until it's like what? Until what age? How many times, how many brisses and shit do you think they went to their whole life? Probably lots of them.
I don't think the kids get to go to that. I think that's an adult only thing.
Yeah, I doubt it. Why wouldn't it be? I mean, what's the point? Especially if the kid is going into that field,
Because those kids are so sheltered. They shelter the shit out of them.
they have the brisses at the houses and shit. Those kids aren't sheltered. Those kids are sheltered from outside influence. They're not sheltered. You can't have something like that and have it be normalized if you keep the kids from knowing about it. If you're gonna say the one side of it where it's just no big deal and then it has to be normalized. It has to be something that they see on a regular basis. They're a different species from us. How can we know how animals truly think? That's a great fucking point. That's a great fucking point. Evil only prevails when good men stand by and do nothing. They're always the exception to the truth. I'm with Ange. Does he need the blood? Yeah, right. What is his thing? Like, he has to have something. That's that.
I can't stop. I know I've given all these babies, but I can't stop.
But
How do you do that?
Because you're the guy that went into it to begin with. That's the point. You go into it that way. You know, like the you know, you don't go in like you've seen this with so many people. Like even the pierogi lady. The pierogi lady is weird as fuck. She makes amazing pierogi because she lives pierogi. If you're going to talk to her about what's going on, she's going to bring up some sort of pierogi. She loves her craft. It's what she does. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just, when especially when it's something like this, and especially in such a small community, such an insulated community, they know exactly what the fuck they're doing. They know exactly what they're getting into. There's no sympathy here. The only sympathy is for the children who are then, the best way I can describe it is MK Ultra style brainwashed into being what they are. Because, when you ritualistically, violently, viciously, sexually assault someone, it causes damage that most of us can't even comprehend. Like even when you think about like how much damage you got from your situations, and you weren't some 3-year-old, 4-year-old child whose parents brought you to it and are partaking in it, and there's your uncles there and your grandfathers there and the rabbis there, and they're telling you how special you are, and it's so fucking awful. It's so unfucking real. It should and if you want to minimize it by saying, oh, but this doesn't happen like with everybody. Doesn't it happen to some be enough? Isn't some enough?
Absolutely should be.
And everybody that tells me that tries to minimize it, I immediately think you're guilty. You're guilty of either partaking, being abused, both, or at the very least you know about it. And I guess maybe it's just my own personal perspective. But as soon as I hear about some sort of child violation,
it's instant red.
Right, it's like where's the, oh well,
violations are bad enough.
It's
about, but with a kid,
right, and then you just go in, well, you know what, I want to go to heaven, so that guy is like a holy guy, No, I'm just gonna ignore it. I don't want to screw up my chances of going to heaven. Like, it's all insane that this is how this shit works. Traumatically, yeah. Animal is animal. They instinctively hunt.
Doesn't mean we have to sit back and let them.
Right, that's it. And the thing is, they're inferior. We're being hunted by such an inferior fucking population. It's so embarrassing. We could absolutely wipe them out, no problem, if we just realized what was going on. Hey, oh, you can't, you're racist. There's a racist, you're discrimination. Look, I'm all for Chinese, Japanese, African, black, whatever, Haiti, Russians, Europeans, Americans, Brazilians. Hey, I want us all to work together. Even if you happen to grow up in that cult, if you can say, no, you're right, it's a cult, I hate it, I want out, we're all here together, let's work together. Tell me how I'm racist for wanting that. Tell me how I'm some sort of ist because I've singled out one bad guy who does bad things and I want to address that shit and fix it. Where's the negative on that? I am so proud of my hatred. I am so proud of my ism, my anti-supremacy. Go ahead and tell me how I'm not supposed to hate your shit. Especially why do we like Christians, non-Christians, they want you to be a Christian. They hate that you're not a Christian, but as soon as you go, you know what? You're right. God's real. I love God. How can I join your thing? They're going to be like, welcome, brother. Muslims, it's the same way. This is the one group that's like, oh, okay, well, go be that. Oh, you go be one of those two.
Well, we have a special room for you.
Right.
Over there.
Right. So, okay, so you married in. Okay, so put on an apron. I'll take a coffee. And what will you take? Take our orders. Like, you're never going to be.
You get the special apron.
Right.
They're not white.
Right. You're the one that, like.
You get the bedazzled apron.
Hey, you get to tell the other goyim what to do. How's that? Does that sound good? You get to relay whatever messages we give you to the other goyim.
That's exactly how they treated my ex-mother-in-law. It was so weird. Like, she was allowed to sit at the big girls' table, talk here and there. They'd give her funny looks. But when, waters were empty, it was also her responsibility to get up and get them. It was so weird. Such a strange thing. Yet with us, goyim, she would act so much better than us. And it was like, you're over there kissing their ass. What the fuck? What do you mean? So weird.
It is very strange. It's very strange that people can willingly put themselves in that position. Why? Why are you trained to be that way? My mother-in-law and sister-in-law used to lose their shit over every fucking thing that went down with the queen, with the monarchy.
Watch the celebrations and the weddings,
right,
and
the births. Oh my God, she had a baby. Oh my God, we're so emotional and happy. And they'd call Ange, and Ange would be like, yeah. Like, I don't want to be mean to you guys, but like, I don't care.
Another ancestral being walking the earth. That's fantastic.
Incestual, entitled,
wealth, power,
right?
And everything at
opulence.
Oh, that's fantastic! I'm so happy.
Right?
Can you please not tell me next time?
We would just be like,
it was so weird.
Is it the whole princess thing for you? Like, is that little girl princess coming out, especially for Alex? Like, Alex, obviously it didn't work. Alex was just doing it because of mom.
What I didn't understand though is I didn't grow up with that. Yaya wasn't like that. Mom wasn't like that when I was a little girl. So I move out
What
of the house,
happened?
and suddenly mom's enthralled with the queen, and I was like, who are you? What happened to you? Hey, that's what I mean. Something happened. Something happened. He switched, and so many things. Like,
Makes you wonder, did she get some sort of shot?
I don't know. It had to have been, because the woman I grew up with was not the woman that ended up passing. She never cared about the queen. So yeah, it was so bizarre.
Well, like I talked about the other day, and it's been sticking with me ever since. Like I've been really bothered by what I heard. That my friend, you know, that suddenly started hearing voices and got diagnosed mildly schizophrenic at 42 years old. 4 years ago, shortly after getting 2 fucking COVID shots. Are we gonna like and the schizophrenic nature of it, like the voices that she started hearing would berate her and tell her how ugly she was. And this is probably one of the most beautiful, physically beautiful. Like she was better than the people you see on TV. It's a surprise nobody ever picked her out of it. But her father was super protective of her, and like, who knows? Who knows the whole scenario there? I don't. She's super religious, kind of weird in that regard, and strangely enough, like,
Then why did God let her have schizophrenia?
well, and she's kind of like she's dumb, and I don't know how much of that is she's now dumb because I didn't have any relationship with her
Prior to schizophrenia?
prior to just Facebook. We talked a couple of times, but it was just like, oh hey, what's going on, kind of Facebook thing. But she was. It's amazing her lack of comprehension on certain things, and her arguments when it comes to the religious aspect of things. And I just ask her, and she's. I don't even understand. It's like, where is this disconnect happening? What is going on? She lives not far from here, and I keep telling her I want her to come because I want to interview her. I want to ask her about this kind of shit. But like, you don't get diagnosed schizophrenic at 42.
That's not very typical.
It's not at all typical. It's just not.
Unless you've been crazy your whole life and you just never went to the doctor. I mean,
No, she said she started hearing voices. Like the voices
that's
just
what I'm
appeared.
saying,
Right.
like,
Yeah, right.
unless, you just have been ignoring it your whole life and you finally go to the doctor. You're not going to find out at 42.
Right. And you see this and you just go, and it coincides with 2 shots.
Hello?
People think that like, oh, well, if there was something bad, then everybody would have the same bad thing. But,
No,
one of these things I
everybody's
stumbled
different.
into recently, and it's amazing to me that I never thought about it, and you never hear anybody in the vaccine community talk about it. But we have 8 different blood types, main blood types, and actually like 300 different blood types. And if you get the wrong blood type, you die. If you get a transfusion of the wrong blood type, you can die. Not everyone dies, but and it depends. Certain people will absolutely die if they get the wrong blood. But like, it'll fuck you up really, really badly if it doesn't kill you. And that's our blood. So how can we have all these different blood types that will literally like attack each other and kill us, but you can give us the same dose of something and it all works the same way in everybody?
Oh, yeah. Makes perfect sense.
I mean, think about how many people you've ever seen where they smoke pot and they get high in a way that you're like, man, I wish I could get high like that. Even when I didn't smoke like I do, like I never got high like you. Or the people that
I
like,
think
not,
those people
I'm not
are
saying you.
faking it a lot of times though too. People
Or the
play
people
shit
that,
up.
that took acid and they would see cartoons and shit. I never saw anything like that. You know, maybe they were faking it. But, you know, there's someone like my wife who is, 5 foot nothing, 5'2", sorry. And fucking 90 pounds who could outdrink 300-pound men in her day. What's going on there? That doesn't make any sense. Why isn't the alcohol killing her like it should?
It was crazy. It would just process it quickly.
Why does someone like me? I doubt it. I don't know if it's this way anymore.
I'm sure it doesn't do it anymore. I would never even try.
Well, like, if I get a 24-hour nerve block in my arm, so they can do surgery on it,
Yeah,
I'm moving my arm.
way sooner. 6 hours.
Yeah, I would say 4.
No, I think it was
No.
right around the 6 hour mark. I think, but it was way too fucking soon. Either way, 4 or 6 or 12, still way too soon. To the point where they
wouldn't
like,
believe
no,
it.
Yeah, they didn't believe it.
I'd have to go and be like, see, I don't know how
I
you
am
think I
moving
did
it.
this. There's nothing you can do to speed that process up. But, so
your body just metabolizes a lot faster, and it's all because it's chemistry. It's
Well, we're
all
just
chemistry.
different.
Our bodies have different variables. So many. Some have more magnesium. Some have more oxygen in their blood.
I could eat more
some of these
food.
heart valves work more efficiently than in others. There's so many variables you cannot control it
I used to be able to eat more food than like anybody.
and not gain weight.
No, her brother can still do it.
Yep.
He's
Yeah.
he's small. He's skinny.
49 years old.
Hey, it just goes in, and then he goes and poops. And
Poops it all out. It's crazy.
no, he doesn't poop it out. He poops out the previous meal.
Oh, yeah, to make room for that one.
Right. But that's the other thing. Like, there are people like me who are extremely regular. I wake up. I don't wake up. My bowels wake up, and I have to poop. And I flush my body flushes of all this shit all the time. And then there are other people who who will poop like once a week.
I don't poop once a week.
I'm not saying you poop once a week, but there are people like that. And you just go, wait, what? You poop once a week? How's that even possible? or you get, like Angela, who poop every couple days, and we have to we have to call the city every time.
So stupid.
We have to call the city and let them know that it's protocol 42,
See, the
code
thing is,
brown,
they already
and-
know you're stupid.
and they
So
have
don't ever
to
say anything.
they have to engage we have a special system put into our toilet. Like, normally it flushes down the normal line, but they had to come in and put a special line in. So when Angela poops, it goes into a special line that gets taken directly to the processing plant, which I think they separate it and they make nuclear weapons and shit out of it. Yeah.
Such a moron. Oh, I love you. I love you.
If I scream code brown right now, my kids will run outside,
They know that.
put their heads over their head.
Bomb
They
ready.
just wait. It's okay. Give me the all clear, Dad. Code brown, code. I don't even want to say it now. I don't want to freak them out. I'll scare them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's traumatic. I was talking about it earlier.
Oh yeah.
What happened? How did, how the episodes that we always used to see, all the same episodes. One of the episodes we always used to see was the everybody forgets the birthday episode until the end of the episode, when it's a surprise that who came up with that? Why make somebody feel like shit their whole day on their birthday, pretending like you forgot it, only to be like, haha, I didn't forget it. You felt like shit all day? Oh, we
I
got
never
you.
understood that either.
It's so weird.
Should be, giving them happy birthdays all day.
Surprise parties. You always heard about surprise parties.
Are fun, but
Well,
if
a
they're,
surprise party in certain but like to be the main family and have to pretend like you forgot about someone's birthday until that's just silly.
that's I don't like the forgetting part. That's
Right.
just
Like if I'm like, hey, let's go out and it's the day before your birthday and you're not expecting it and I take you to a place and everybody's there. That's a surprise party. That's a cool one.
Right.
But to do the whole ruse of hate, it's just weird.
Well, like I felt really weird not wishing my stepdad a happy anniversary when I talked to him this morning, but
That's
you
a
know.
different story. That's a
but I
completely
felt
different
weird
thing.
not offering.
With my mother while she was in the womb, she used to tell me she was Ries negative and I'm type O positive.
Oh, RH negative.
RH negative.
Yeah, so am I. Yeah, that just means us as the mothers have to get a shot within a certain time. They used to do it within a certain time of pregnancy and a certain time of birth. Now they've switched it to
Yeah, but how did
a
women
shot
survive that for
certain
fucking?
time after birth.
How did women survive that forever without that shot?
They didn't. They died. That was the point.
No.
They figured out why they were Yes, they figured out why their blood was attacking them, and it wasn't their blood; it was the fetus's blood.
How did they figure that out? When did that
Through microscopes, I don't know.
when did that take place? That's the kind of shit where you'd be like, oh, guess when they found that out? In the 1880s. With their 1880s magical Scantron technology that they seem to be able to use to figure out everything.
Yeah.
You guys, so from the time the telephone was invented in 1877 to 1892, it was 15 years, there were over 300,000 patents filed at the patent agency.
It could happen.
And the telephone wasn't like they invented the telephone and then everybody had the telephone. So people were just calling. You still had to register your patent in the patent office. That works out to be like 82 patents every single day for 15 years.
They employed a lot of people, created a lot of jobs.
Yeah, that's what it is. Think about how ridiculous that is.
That was his doing,
Just think about how ridiculous that. 82, were there 82 patent offices in the United States? Each processing one patent every single day? I doubt it.
You could stamp a stamp a lot faster than one a day. Shit.
You can't apply for a patent without some sort of presentation of your thing. You can't just sit there and write it down. Well, what about a car that can go on the water and on the road? Signed it, stamped it. There you go. I got that patent now. Like, that's not how it works. You have to demonstrate your shit.
I don't think so.
I think you do. I was fighting. Her antibiotics towards the end of the pregnancy, and Mary's negative, and it's spot on, caused my mom real problems during pregnancy and birth of me. Yeah, it's fucked up. How do we do that? How do we make
a baby that's attacking us from the inside?
How do you do that? I mean, it's the same thing as like, okay, so
Because you guys are parasites.
so you have an appendix in your body that if it ruptures will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
It's inside your body already. You make the thing that will kill you if it's released. Think about how weird that is.
It's only released if there is a systemic failure.
Sure, but but even if it's like it's inside your body already. It just has to release to the rest of your body, but it's still you make it.
Let me ask you this. So say you go and get, your one of your hepatitis shots or whatever growing up. You get one of your shots. You go home and your appendix starts swelling because it's attacking. You have no fucking idea. You just have a bellyache. You don't know what it is. And then it passes, because the appendix is healthy and it does its job. But slowly over time, it's killing. We have no idea. And you wouldn't know the symptoms of that to properly give a medical professional the tools to diagnose it accurately.
Not
So,
just that.
you know,
You
this
could
is
be an
something-
asshole like you who would be like, nah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine, even though you're not fine. There are a lot of people like that out there that they literally have to be in catastrophic failure before they'll admit that something's wrong. So someone like you,
No, before they let themselves be experimented on. Don't get it twisted. That's what
it's
it
not
is.
an experiment.
It
There's
is.
there's lots of
The
different
practice of medicine.
there's lots of different things they know how to do. Your body
My
type
arm?
and your
Yeah, sure.
again, I see you're getting defensive here, and there's nothing to get defensive about.
I'm not.
The point being that something like that depends on a lot of times when you catch it, and it depends on the personality type. There are people that are the hypochondriacs that as soon as they get the bellyache, they'll go get tested and they'll find out, and that will be the justification for them being hypochondriacs for the rest of their lives because they did happen to catch this one thing early. But then there will be the people like Angela who are like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. And I got to be like, look, I'm going to pick you up and take you. Okay. It's either I'm taking you and I'm bigger and stronger and you can't fight me, or else you're going to go. Like, and because of that will affect how again, if you've had more exposure to whatever that thing is that's doing it, because you toughed it out. You didn't want to be, for whatever reason, you don't want to go to the doctor. It's fucked up how that works. It all depends on lots of different factors. If your body is going to deal with it better than other people's bodies. And I think, like, when you look at how many really, really famous people, especially in government and shit, they don't die from any of this stuff. It makes you wonder, on what level do they have things figured out that they keep us separate from it? Might have brought the common touch to the situation. I don't know what common is a muck type. Oh, it must be that recess negative thing, same as Angela. My mom had to have her head cut off before handling or heading to the doctor. Now, see, that's a weird point, right?
What happened?
You said
Mum
you're
looks through
RH
the whole
negative
thing.
too?
Yes.
Okay, so she just said maybe it's that RH negative thing. Her mom was the same way. She had the RH negative blood, and you'd have to cut her head off to get her to go to the doctor. I wonder if there's something to that.
But
I
it
wonder
changes
if
the
there's,
pain tolerance levels.
but that's not a pain tolerance.
Well,
It's
part of
it's
it
a
is.
stubbornness. Part of it is pain tolerance, but you're still in pain. It's this perception of like I'm not some
bad.
pussy. It's
No,
not
it's
that
not
bad.
bad.
I
It's
can
not
handle
bad
it.
enough to warrant going to the doctor.
Right,
Maybe
until
it is bad enough, but we don't feel how bad it is my point.
I think you do. It's much more for you. It's absolutely a control thing. It's what you're feeling the pain. You just don't want to admit that you might be wrong or that the doc. I don't want to go have the practice of medicine, and there's a lot more to it than that. And I wonder how much of that is ingrained in our blood. How much of that is part of the program? What if our blood types are the like different codes in the program that make the people who they are? We just don't realize it because we don't talk about it. How do we know that, like, we don't fancy a certain type of person, a certain blood type, without even knowing about it? That type of blood type gives off some smell or some sort of something that we pick up on some kind of level.
But
How do
then
we
I
know
shouldn't
that?
Be attracted to a positive blood type because that's what could potentially cause me in the fetus.
Are you
harm.
kidding me? That's crazy.
If that's true, I'm saying.
If that we,
Then
you
why
never
would you
know.
be attracted to the blood type that would potentially
Because you're
kill
broken
you
in some
afterwards?
way. For all we know, there's other factors involved. I'm not saying that's the only thing. Maybe it's you broken, and maybe something about being broken, changes the thing that attracts you. We don't know because none of this shit is studied. None of this shit is ever even talked about. We treat personality and personality quirks and deficiencies and all that like they're just these choices people make.
From the brain, which we know very little about. That's what they usually.
But you know, it's like the person that gets made fun of at school, whatever the thing they're getting made fun of for, they don't want that thing. Especially if they're ugly, especially if they're a dork, especially if they're this, especially they don't want to be that thing. I know my kid doesn't want to struggle in whatever he's struggling in. He wants to be the best student possible.
That short boy definitely wishes he was not short.
Exactly. That overly short dude, where everybody picks on him he doesn't want to be short. Everybody wants to be the big badass with the muscles and the
cool
and the
guy.
quarterback, and the girls like him, and all the girls, they want to be the chick with the best tits, and the, you know, as superficial as tits and ass may be, they want to have the best of them, and then they can decide whether they're going to be an intellectual or but they still want that option.
The tools in the tool chest,
Right.
and we don't have the choice of what tools we get given. That's the problem.
For sure. That's what I'm saying. Like we are these.
But yet we still feel entitled enough to make fun of other people. For not having
Absolutely.
them.
Absolutely.
so
And put ourselves in
fucking
different
crazy.
positions and different cliques and all this shit. Like the Jenny Ernst story that I keep talking about. I was pleasantly surprised by how cool she was when you were nice to her. You know, and I had been mean to her in the past. Everybody was. But as soon as it like what the fuck are we doing? Why are we being mean to this girl? Like, she's a girl. Like, what are you doing? She was cool. She is still weird. And of course she's gonna be weird because she had years of people being mean to her.
Some people are just more odd than us.
But what creates these things from birth? You know, when you look at most, like, they're cute. They're cute little babies. And then things start changing. And I wonder how many different personality quirks, like how many murderers have a certain blood type? How many sexual predators have a certain blood type? And we just don't know that's what it is.
So we'll see. I think a lot of the reason why it's probably the funding for that type of testing hasn't been made available, because then it makes it too easy to discriminate
For sure.
for predispositions based on the blood types. So they don't want that information on record, I think. Or
For
if
sure.
they have it on record, they're not going to share it.
Well, or
Because,
that, and
you know.
it could implicate them. That's another
That too,
big
but
part
could
of
you
it.
imagine what insurance companies would do with that kind
Oh
of
yeah, no,
information?
but
Oh my
but
God.
that's part of, you know, when I talk about the revolution, it's not just one thing or another. If we're gonna get into blood types and all that stuff, then we're in a society where, I mean, look at the old paintings. The old paintings of big town squares or whatever it is. You don't see people working. You see people just enjoying life. Even the old pictures of beaches and shit where the people have on, like, you know, swimsuits that should kill you if you go in the water. It's too heavy. Everybody's just having a great time. You never see pictures of people hardworking and all that until we get to the 19th century, when you suddenly have, you know, all these child labor pictures that just pop up out of nowhere.
Oh, they didn't have the factories before that.
No, they had the factories. They just didn't have the workers for the factories. So the children had to. Where'd all these children come? That the whole orphan train, all that shit, that's a whole different thing. But again, I think the blood type argument just never gets talked about by anyone. I've never heard anybody else talk about blood types. I've never heard anybody talk about how that. And I've watched a lot of different shit. You know, I think maybe David Icke talked about it once in some maybe I do remember David Icke sort of talking about something about it, but I don't remember what it was. But I just the notion that Karen's mother and Angela are both this really, like, it's weird, you know. At the same time, they're the most caring people who give a shit about anybody else, and if somebody else is having problems, they'll be like, "Oh shit, we go get it checked out." You know, they have no problem telling somebody else to do it. They care about. They want to help everybody, But then when it comes down to them, I know my own body. Like, no, you don't. You might know your own body when it comes to whether you've experienced something before, and you know how your body reacted maybe when you were a kid, because it does react differently as an adult, and especially an older adult. But like,
Better watch your mouth.
There's been a couple of times when that didn't work out. Like, she was wrong. That perspective, that stubbornness was difficult. And from this side of things, it's extremely difficult. The days where like she's not feeling well, and I go, okay, well, just hang out. I'll take care of shit. You just chill. Those are the days where she's gonna get up and go do the dishes for no reason whatsoever. She's gonna get up and I'll be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" "Oh, I'm just doing this real quick." Like, why? The fuck is wrong with you? Go sit down. "Oh, well, I just need to. I know my body and shut the fuck up and go." Sounds like your mom, right? 100%, right. So there's something there. There's some sort of weird connection to that blood type, because I don't even know what my blood type is, to tell you the truth. But there's people out there that, it makes you wonder, like, what sort of connections do Karen and I happen to have the same blood type? I don't know.
Well, that doesn't mean we have the same blood type. It just means we both have the negative Rh factor. So
And you know what?
Her mom could be A, B, O.
Well, the thing is, like, she's like super negative. So that works out. Like, it actually fits.
Oh, you're hilarious. Dick.
Have you ever heard of the rarest blood type in the world? RH? No, approximately.
Onto something there.
The world happens. Only 50 people. RH, 5% of the world. Knowledge. I didn't.
Oh, yeah. No, it's rare.
We're
rare.
What is it, though? What is it? What creates it? How does a one person and another person come together and make a completely different type?
Both of my parents are positive. Were positive, both of them. I thought that maybe one of them was negative, but no, both of them were positive. So, I don't know.
There's something there.
Anthony's not negative. Alex isn't negative.
So then you have to ask, like, what is it then that creates these things? Is it times a year? Like, are children who are conceived and this time of year more likely to be born this type of blood type? Is, like, what the hell is going on? When does the blood type get established?
At conception, I think. That's when the DNA gets established, right?
I don't fucking know.
I would imagine the blood type is embedded in the DNA, so...
When I hear about these kinds of things, and you think, like, okay, so when did they figure these things out?
We did that in biology, but that was back in 9th grade.
When did they figure out all of these things? And you find out that they were, like, in the 1800s with their rusty scalpels and their, what were they using?
They weren't rusty.
What were they fucking using?
They burned the rust off.
They had no they weren't washing hands. They weren't doing that shit. They didn't understand the idea of germs yet. That didn't exist. Miasma was the thing. Invisible germs. My brother is the same type as my mom. Do either of the boys? I don't know what the boys are. What are the boys?
No. Neither one of them are negative.
Are they different?
Yes. I don't remember what they are, but they're both positive.
So their personalities are so much different. Mm-hmm. Makes you wonder how much of that has to do with blood type. And it makes you wonder, like, as far as the people that what am I?
B positive, I think.
I had a B plus.
B negative.
So what is that? what made that work? And to think that there are so many of these variables in blood types, but then I'm going to give you the same medicine.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. Yeah, I never understood that. Especially after taking like chemistry and biology. Like,
Well, and I'm going to give, 90-pound Angela the exact same dosage that I'm going to give 300-pound man guy, Like what?
oh, that shit. I can't even go there.
How do we
That's
do
what
that?
They put me through. And
Right.
it's-
But how do
makes me
you
so mad.
even figure that out? Because they don't adjust the shit, especially when it comes to
Oh
like.
no, they do their calculations. They do the calculations.
Yeah,
They
I'm sure they
do
do.
the math backwards. That's what I.
And then they
fucking
just
do.
happen to have the right size vial just sitting handy for you to
Well,
use.
yeah, the pharmacists have multiple
Yeah,
sizes.
sure
so
they do.
that's, that part doesn't matter. But no, the doctors. That's who I got into it with. We do the math backwards.
Well, I mean, like even the
Clearly
guy,
you fucked up.
even the guy that operated on my arm,
No.
we would drive, 2 hours to get there, wait in the waiting room for 45 minutes, go in the back, have to fill out the shit, talk to the intern one, then intern two, and then doctor would walk in and be like, all right, zip it up, okay, we're gonna do this, okay, all right, see ya.
See you in 2 months. No. It takes us fucking 2 hours to get here. What? No. Can we do? No. They don't give a fuck.
But they're in
don't
there for
give a
for
fuck.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
You're a cattle, man.
Yep.
In and out. They don't give a fuck.
Can we ask some questions and then they get irritated, like you're taking up their time? Yeah, bitch. We just drove hours and had to get sitters because our babies were young.
And I'm
Fuck
doing a you're doing like a fixing, sir. So we already did this once, and it didn't work out so well. And then
I'm
you
hurt in
did
the
this
car.
once.
For all the time.
You did this once, and it didn't work out.
And
We're
it was
we're letting you
experimental.
doing it the second time.
You're
so-
getting data from what you're doing to me because it's experimental. I am invaluable to you.
Well, for me, they told me that they asked me, do you want us to do the experimental thing, or do you want us to use the nerve, graft it from another part of your body? And I was like, well, why don't you do the part from my body? I don't want to be the experiment. And he was like, all right. And then after my surgery, I woke up and I'm like, hey, how come nothing else hurts? Aren't I supposed to have something taken from somewhere else? And he was like, oh, well, we decided to go with the experimental one while we were in there. And I was like, well,
Nobody came out and said anything to me
hey, that's
They
not
didn't
how
ask
that was
me.
supposed to work.
while my husband is under and can't make the decision himself.
Why did you make that decision? You asked me if I wanted to do it that way, and I specifically said no. Why would you do it? Especially the second time when I've already had the experimental thing and it didn't work. So can we just do the thing that's going to work this
Well, I
time?
didn't think they offered that on the second surgery. I think no. By then, I think he said it was too late, and they had to continue with the experiment. They were just cutting your nerves further back
Further back.
because to cut the hematomas out
Right.
and reattach the experimental thing.
Because my body rejected it so badly
It
that
died.
the doctor was like, I've never seen a hematoma that big before. I've been doing this for 20 years. And it was like that big. And it was in the side of my wrist right here. Right on the side. And he was like, I've never seen anything like that before. He actually, during surgery, stopped and took a picture on his cell phone
Yeah.
because he had never seen anything like it, and he sent it to us. Think about that. How
I mean, in
unprofessional
reality,
is
he probably
it?
had a nurse do it. He
Well,
stepped back and said, "Nurse, take."
But
a
how
picture."
unprofessional? When do you hear about that?
Well, they probably do nowadays. They probably do that a lot for learning purposes
Right.
to teach others.
But
That would be
still, to think
fantastic,
that,
but-
like, I've never seen it that big before, I need to take a picture, that's significant.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we get the phone call one day going, hey, the doctor that you already drove 2 hours to come see because all the doctors here in Michigan were just in the boys club together, and they would look at the diagnosis and they go, oh, you saw this guy? Okay, well, I'm going to go with what he said. And I'd be like, well, then why am I here with you? I should have just gone with that guy, right? Obviously, I didn't agree with that guy. Obviously, something else is going on, but you're going to go with him. We literally had to leave the state because it was such a boys' club. So we had to drive all the way to Ohio for it. And that definitely didn't feel good, especially
Well, not
after
just
surgeries.
Ohio, to the Cleveland Clinic.
Right.
If anybody's in the United States, they've heard of the Cleveland Clinic because they're renowned.
They're renowned. And so one day we get the phone call where the doctor says, or the nurse says, the doctor's moving to Florida.
No, she said, we're calling to cancel your follow-up appointment because
yeah.
the doctor moved
Right.
to Florida. He
Right.
is gone, and there's nobody here.
We can give you a
qualified
referral.
enough to replace him for your procedure.
We can give you a referral to one of the doctors in the area. What are you fucking talking about?
Oh yeah, because we live in Ohio.
Right.
You have my chart there. You see I'm coming from a state away.
It was insane. Yeah, we just didn't bother to, like, he was planning on doing more surgery. We were waiting on the follow-up appointment to go schedule the next surgery. And he just bailed.
Yeah, because the hematoma after the second experimental surgery was already starting to form.
Right. It's fucking insane. How do you just use experimental shit on someone?
And the tube died. You have a dead tube in your arm currently because that doctor fucking bailed to Florida and didn't bother letting you know.
I mean, all this, we
So
came
much
up
for his
with
data.
all of this. This is all part of our, you guys like it? It's not real, of course. None of it's real. We're
That
just
makes me
faking all
wonder.
this. But we came up with all of it on, like, how do you think? What do you guys think of our made up narrative?
So here's the bigger picture. Okay, so you were the experiment and he got the data because the data was it died the second time, so it's clearly not going to work. So he didn't care about fixing it. He got what he needed. He got his data. Failed experiment. That procedure's not going to work.
What did he get paid for that? To
Who
move to
knows?
Florida.
But it didn't matter that you didn't get fixed and he bailed on you
Yeah.
because he got what he needed. It's so fucking sick. The practice of medicine.
They got their data.
Oh,
But
God.
that data had to be sold.
Well,
Right?
yeah.
So he
Oh, yeah,
probably
well,
got a big fucking couple
Oh, for
million
sure.
off of it.
That's why you went to Florida. Took over a practice, whatever.
That's fucked up shit.
Yeah.
It is excellent improv. And see, here in Michigan, in order to prove malpractice, you have to get another doctor to testify against one of, like, his colleagues, basically. Knowing that now that doctor will testify against you in the long run. And you have to be able to prove lifelong injury within the first 2 years of whatever happened. So, like in my case, the shit was ongoing for longer than 2 years. So the initial malpractice aspect of it was overridden. The time had passed. And then when it came to the second malpractice aspect of it with this fucking tube, we were just told that I called a lawyer. I actually called a lawyer in Ohio, and the lawyer was like, yeah, well, you could just do that. They could just change shit up on it. I was like, what are you talking about? I should have called more lawyers. I should have done more. It's fucking nuts, man. Them doing an experimental procedure without permission is so fucked up. Yeah, for sure. Especially when it doesn't work. and then bailing and all of it. Yeah, it's fucked up. But, you know, this is how you do it. This is how you make up a good story. You fake it. You pretend. You get all these doctors to get in on it. You know, all right, doctor, you need to do this, and they need to do the narrative. And of course, all the doctors were friars. Fucking asshole friars, man. Start to finish. When I first got, you know, when this shit was first going on, so the doctor that actually first did the surgery died within a year of doing the surgery. Like he stopped doing. Mine was one of the last surgeries he did. And the day he did it, I was like, I don't want to look at him. He looks exhausted. Like I knew something was wrong with him just looking at him.
It was late at night too.
Well, it wasn't when we got there.
Surgery of the night.
It wasn't when we got there though.
No.
It was supposed to be like a 2:30 surgery, but with all the complications and the surgeries before mine didn't happen till like 9 p.m., something like that. I came to from the surgery in
the dark.
In fucking White Castle parking lot. I remember it.
Oh.
I kind of came to and it was like 9:36 and you were inside getting the food. And I was like, why the fuck are we here? What's going on? And you came out like I got it and I was like, fuck you talking about? Like,
oh yeah, because you got in the car on your own and everything.
No, I was they didn't even let me come out of anesthesia or anything.
When they called me back there, they said, okay, he's awake. And you had opened your eyes and you were kind of talking, but I could tell you were still really fucked up. But the room was all dark.
Yeah, they
you
closed.
You were in the bed and they had the one light over you. So it was like a spotlight. It was like in the movies, you know?
Right.
Boom, when I walked in to go, it was very creepy. We had to walk
so
out
fucked
in the
up.
dark. And
I shouldn't have walked out. I should have been wheeled out.
You know.
Right. Just these little. They actually doctored the time on one of. We still have it somewhere. On one of the, like the final X-ray to check to see if everything was in place. They made the time say it was like 8:30, but I didn't go into surgery until after 8:30. So they changed it. They just fucked around. They were so fucked up. And he did such a hack and slash job on it. And the cast that was put on it was too small. It was a nightmare.
You had to have a cast redone like 5 times.
Right. They kept putting it on too small or putting it in the wrong spot. Like my arm was supposed to be up like this. But the cast had it so my arm was stuck out like this.
Yeah.
It was just so fucked. I had to go to the emergency room the following day. Yep. And then it was just a nightmare. It was a nightmare start to finish. And by the time, so it was like what was it, like 6 weeks with the pins in and then another 2 to 4 weeks without or something weird. No, something, I don't know. But by the time it came to getting the pins out, the doctor had stopped because of the cancer that was so bad he ended up dying a few months later. So the guy that put the surgery, that did it all, he didn't finish the surgery.
No, he died.
And then his partner had to take over, and his partner was so overwhelmed because he had double the patients, he was mad. And he chased me out for asking questions.
Well, Shapiro wasn't his partner.
No.
Oh, I forgot you went to that other doctor.
No, his second doctor, his partner was named Hill, I believe. And he was just an asshole.
Well, he was very stressed.
But he was an asshole anyway.
Yeah.
So then I went to another doctor, Shapiro, and I thought he was fucking Italian.
He's renowned in Michigan.
I thought he was Italian. And so he was like, yeah, I can take the pins out, no problem. So he does the secondary surgery.
That arrogant fuck.
And the therapy, the rehab therapy for the surgery was actually in the same building. So it was on the first floor was the surgery place. Or the first floor was the therapy. The second floor was the surgery. So I'm going through the therapy, and the therapist is like this. She's been doing it for like 30 years. And she keeps telling me, wow, your shit's acting really weird. I've never seen anything like this. You need to talk to the doctor. You need to talk to the doctor. And I'm like, I try, he doesn't listen. But you're in the same building as him. Why can't you just talk to him? Why can't you send up the notes to him? What's going? Oh, and she would be like, well, he doesn't listen to me. She was a goy. But she was renowned, but she was like, he won't listen if I try talking to him. And when I tried to, when I would talk and I asked him like, hey, she says that I need to get, like, this isn't presenting the right way and that there needs to be more work done. He was like, what do you want? You want me to write you more pain pills? And I was like, no, I want you to write me for an MRI. He's like, I'm not writing an MRI. You think you know more than me? I'm like, she's yelling at me. And the doctor, and I'm going, what are you talking about? The therapist is telling me to do this. Why are you, he's in my face yelling. It took everything I could not to hit the guy in the face. He was literally in my face yelling at me because I was asking him to write me for an MRI. Needless to say, that was the last time I was there. Ultimately sounds like it. Charlie's surgeon on his arm, kind of same place, had a bit of a twisted wire sticking out just under the skin, was wild. Oh no, this was insane. This was insane. What I went through for like 2 years, just in the surgery aspect of things, maybe 3 years, was a nightmare. Because like with the tube, it was a year before they would be able to know whether the tube had really truly taken. So you get the surgery and you still have to wait another year before you can even begin to sort of, see if things worked out and all that. And I would know within months, like, hey, this isn't working. Something's wrong. This hurts. And he'd just be like, no, 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 just wait. It'll get better. It'll get better. And I'd be like, no, it's not. But my shit's hurting just talking about it. So I'm going to go. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day. Go get your free download. I'm glad I could learn you about my whole fakery. Because, this whole story is just one big fake story. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Pedophiles, kill yourself.